Today is the 116th anniversary of the first win in Red Sox history, an 8-6 win on the road by the Boston Americans over the Philadelphia Athletics. Cy Young threw a complete game to get the win. Now it's Jackie Bradley Jr. and the Red Sox taking on the Chicago Cubs. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start. Two of the most historic and most beloved franchises converging at Fenway Park in Boston on Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Here we got Theo Epstein, of course, reverse the curse not only in Boston but also Chicago, and Ben Zobrist, Mr. Everything for the Cubs so far, has been good in this series, as has been Anthony Rizzo. He struggled in the first series of the year. After that, he's been on fire, and Rizzo also helped by Chris Bryant on a 10-game hit streak as Joe Maddon's Chicago Cubs defending World Series champions. It's Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, presented by Chevrolet.
Our goal is to get to the World Series, have a chance to win a World Series.
After 86 years, the Boston Red Sox are the champions of the baseball world.
I was so fortunate to spend a decade in the Red Sox organization. With this ownership and with this fan support, I firmly believe that we can win the World Series.
And the Cubs have won the World Series for the first time in 108 years.
Mookie Betts, they have no answer.
Chris Bryant putting on a tremendous show of power.
Benintendi laid into that one.
Rizzo cracks one in the air. Gone!
Upper deck home run.
Kyle Schwarber delivers.
A grand slam for Dustin Pedroia.
And Javier Baez with another alert play. Red Sox, Cubs, it's a good mix for a ball game here tonight.
That sets the tone for the Cubs and the Red Sox right here from Fenway Park on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. A little cold, a little windy, but not going to dampen the spirits of all these young fans who cannot wait to see baseball history unfold. And with that, we say welcome alongside Mark Teixeira, Aaron Boone, Tim Kirchin, I'm Adnan Burke. Between the four of us, 14 home runs hit at Fenway Park. I don't want to take a guess which one's had the most, but how cool is it to see two historic franchises like this together?
This is one of the things about interleague that I enjoy. You get to see these type of teams playing each other. There are some weird matchups out there. This is one of the best.
I sat here on a Friday night to start this series with a hot dog and a beer and enjoyed a baseball game. This is special.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. Speaking of Friday night, let's recap the series in case you've missed what's gone on so far between Boston and Chicago. And Tim, Jake Arrieta roughed up on Friday.
5 runs in the first inning. That's the most runs he's ever given up in the first inning of any start of his career.
Andrew Benintendi with the home run. Mitch Moreland also productive.
Yeah, Mitch Moreland. Everyone's been asking about, who's going to play first base for the Red Sox. Mitch Moreland's their first baseman. He's shown that he can handle this position every day.
And
two bags.
Two bags, exactly. Every time he's on, it's a double. And Craig Kimbrell looking good.
You know what? He probably looks as dominant as he has at any time in his career. The strikeouts to strike out the side in their win against the middle of this lineup, impressive. He's locked in, knows where it's going right now.
And then on Saturday, how about Anthony Rizzo?
He's one of my favorite players in baseball. Look at that back leg. I mean, he's just really been hot after the first week of the season.
Whole Cubs team, in fact, Tim Schwarber as well joining in on the act.
Right, Kyle Schwarber, 3 homers this year, has had a little bit of trouble lately, had a 4-strikeout game the other night, but he is a really good hitter, and he'll be great before this year's over.
And Ben Zobrist can do it all, Boone.
Well, we know how important he is to the middle of this lineup, especially with a lot of guys getting on in front. If they can get him rolling from both sides, it's a big deal.
And perhaps another key cog, especially tonight, Chris Bryant. So far, a home run, couple of doubles in this series versus the Boston Red Sox. You see him in the cage. He looks locked in and ready to go against Eduardo Rodriguez. Let's take a look at the lineup the Cubs are trotting out. We talked about some of the key players there, Mark, but overall, when you assess this lineup, what stands out to you?
This is how deep it is. I mean, Schwarber hasn't really been himself. Zobrist haven't been himself. Once these guys get hot, it's scary how good this lineup is top to bottom.
Yeah, Jason Hayward, you see right now, hitting 6th, and clearly some concerns around him after the first year of his contract, but he has been productive for them. And you see Contreras, Almora, and John Jay after that. Of course, Boone will be a part of the game coverage coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern. So will be Buster Olney. Buster, Kyle Hendricks gets a start for Chicago. What do you make of his early season so far?
Well, when you talk to the folks with the Cubs team, they'll tell you they feel like they really haven't played that well so far this year. And the biggest reason is starting pitching. Last year, this is a group that led the majors in ERA at 2.96. This year, so far, 4.34, about a run and a half lower. And Kyle Hendricks so far has been part of that regression. Now, his velocity was down earlier this season, and before his last start, he worked in the bullpen on his mechanics using bungee cords to hold him back. Chris Fazio, the pitching coach, wanting him to relearn about driving toward home plate. He feels like that made a difference. He picked up a couple miles per hour on his fastball. Bigger difference between his fastball and his changeup, and he's looking to build on that tonight.
All right, Buster, thank you. We'll check back with you in just a second. Boone, to further the point that Tex is making about the depth of this Cubs lineup, what is it that you see? If you're an opposing pitcher, how do you attack these guys?
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it's clicking yet, but the two big boys in the middle from the left and right side, Bryant and Rizzo, after that slow start, they're carrying this offense right now. I think they're 5th in the major leagues in runs scored, and it's on the strength of those guys. And one of the things I love right now about Bryant is obviously the reigning MVP, all the success he's had as a young player, but the adjustments he's been able to make. This year, the changeup was a disaster for him last year. It was a pitch that he chased a lot. He's not chasing it as much. He's doing a little more damage and also continuing to build on the strengths that made him the MVP. This guy's special.
Yeah, what you're saying, these guys are both maturing as hitters.
Yes.
They have so much talent. You know, to think that they're getting better up here,
yes.
Understanding their body, understanding what pitches to swing at, what pitches to lay off, that's what makes great hitters even better. And you know, Chris Bryant's probably going to win 4 or 5 MVPs by the time his career's over. He's getting better.
I really think, I agree. And I didn't necessarily feel that way, but I think those adjustments and the fact that he's a baseball rat.
Yeah.
That's what he cares about. And I think he went home and picked out something real specific to work on, and I think he'll continue to do that.
And it's virtually the entire lineup that keeps getting better every year, including Addison Russell, who's will become a number 5 hitter, a middle-of-the-order guy at some point. He's got some serious pop, which we saw last year.
That's the story for the Chicago Cubs. How about the Boston Red Sox? Right now, they are 3rd in the American League East. The Yankees have been very good so far. The Orioles very good. For Boston, Mookie Betts, .389 batting average with runners in scoring position so far this season. As we see the lineup that Boston will be trotting out tonight against Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs. There's so many young players dotting this lineup, Boone, but so far they're yet to really get clicking.
Yeah, look, this has the potential to be a really good lineup, but I'm at least a little bit concerned. Moreland has had a seamless transition here, leading the league in doubles. But I think the key with no David Ortiz is Hanley Ramirez. He's got to be that guy that they can hang their hat on for 30 home runs in the middle of this lineup.
More on the thoughts of the Red Sox offense in just a second, but let's bring in Buster Olney, get his perspective. Buster, what are they saying about no longer David Ortiz being there as the rock of this offense?
There's no question, Adnan. It's a very different-looking offense. Think about last year when they dominated baseball, outscoring the next closest team by 101 runs. This year so far, just 14 home runs. Eric Thames has almost as many home runs as the entire Red Sox team. Now, in talking with the Red Sox personnel, they really feel like that'll turn around as the weather heats up. And as Boone said, Hanley Ramirez is an absolute key. John Farrell, when he met with us, pointed out that last year it was like Hanley Ramirez built through the course of the year until he reached an apex late in the season when he was completely locked in. The Red Sox this year need for that to happen.
All right, Buster, good stuff. Of course, we'll enjoy you on the game coming up 8 o'clock Eastern. What do you think, Tex?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's right here, but I'm going to give the Red Sox a little bit more time. I mean, they are a young team. I mean, the guys that are coming up here, the Killer Bees, these guys have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine. It's been cold. It's not easy to hit home runs when it's 45 degrees and the wind's blowing in Boston. So let's just give these guys some time.
And it gives perspective, Tim, how great Ortiz's final year was.
Right, it was the greatest final year that anybody has ever had in the history of baseball. He was the best offensive player in the American League last year. You take him out of the lineup, you're going to miss him. That's why the rest of them have to go. Xander Bogaerts has 2 extra base hits all year. That's going to start changing soon.
I don't know what's more shocking, Poppy's final year, or the fact Boone does not have gloves, a scarf, an overcoat. I mean, my guy's bringing it out here.
I coffeeed up before I came down. Flowing.
Appreciate it. We'll get you up to the booth. All right. Aaron Boone, terrific job as always. You'll see him on Sunday Night Baseball, 8 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. All right, let's get to the highlights here as we continue. This was a wild game. The Mets and the Nationals, at least in the start text, Noah Syndergaard was on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, Syndergaard, he didn't want to take the MRI, did he? You know, it's one of those things that we're going to be talking about this for a long time in New York about what's going on here with Syndergaard and his health right now.
And so Syndergaard says, I think I can do it, but instead Anthony Rendon, and we're going to blow up the Rendon coverage, Tim, but this was the start of a good day.
Right. He came into today hitting .226 with no homers and 5 RBIs. Wait till you see he ended up today.
3-1 at that point. Syndergaard clearly did not have it.
Well, obviously he was hurt. He wasn't feeling good. And, the toughest part about this is not only Syndergaard goes down, but the Mets completely blew their bullpen because he came out in the first inning. Yeah. He couldn't do anything today. That's 100 miles an hour off the bat. Right. That's not a pitch. That's off the bat.
And Syndergaard had not walked a guy all year. No walks, 30 strikeouts, walked a couple guys today. Texas right. He just wasn't himself.
You see the reaction there from Dusty Baker and the rest of the team. 5 earned runs in the first inning. That was a career high in the first inning for Syndergaard. When things changed, well, in the second inning, Bryce Harper facing Syndergaard, and that's when he knew they had the issue.
That's just, you look at that and you just say, what is going on here? He was supposed to be in an MRI booth. He was supposed to get checked out. He leaves the start early. Not good news.
Lat strain, he's going to go get an MRI, and this time, frankly, he better go get one.
Exactly. Sandy Alderson on Syndergaard.
Noah is on his way to New York. We have an MRI scheduled for 7 o'clock in the morning. The preliminary diagnosis was a possible lat strain, which may or may not be related to his previous complaint, which was in the bicep. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But that's the reason he's not here. He's on his way back to New York.
Well, I know everything in New York gets magnified text, but this just seemed odd to me. A guy refusing an MRI? How unique is that?
I've never heard of that. I mean, when I'm hurt, if something's going on with me,
yeah.
The trainer comes to me, the doctor comes to me, says, you have an MRI tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And you go to the MRI and they tell you what's going on. I've never heard of anybody coming out of a game or skipping a start and then saying, nope, I'm fine, I'm going to go into the MRI. Obviously, he wasn't fine.
And what a turnaround that is for the Mets today. Let's say Syndergaard had been really good and they'd gone in there and swept the Nationals. Maybe they're thinking we're going in the right direction. Instead, they lose 23-5. Their ace pitcher is hurt, and they have to look at things and say, wow, we're really in trouble now.
Yeah, we blow things up in New York 100%.
Yeah.
This is not blown up. This is a huge deal here because the Mets, look at their roster. They still have a very good roster. They have a very good team when they're healthy. Right now, there's too many things, too many question marks for the Mets right now, especially with how good the Nationals are. The Nationals look like a juggernaut right now, and the Mets are, kind of limping around.
Yeah, a bad first month for the New York Mets. And speaking of that Nationals offense, just how good were they today? Back to Rendon, who was just feeling it.
Right, and again, that's his first home run of the season here. We're on April the 30th. He's got a couple of knocks now, and so much more to come.
Do you remember your best day at the plate? Was anything like this?
Nothing like this. I wish I had a day like this. 10 RBIs, 3 homers, 6 hits.
So no homers in 29 days, 2 homers in 45 minutes. This is the first multi-home run game of his career.
Amazing. And Bryce Harper, how about his day against this New York Mets? At this point, he's feasting, right? Syndergaard's out. We're in the 8th inning. I've got Plawecki pitching.
When you have a position player coming in, the first thing that you say to yourself is, how far can I hit this ball? And Bryce Harper, exactly what he's telling himself, just hits that ball a mile. And here we go again.
And this is his 3rd homer of the game. I repeat, he never had a 2-homer game, and he hit 3 today. And the 23 runs are the most runs that the Nationals franchise, that is Expos and Nationals, have ever scored in a game. 2nd most the Mets have ever given up.
6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBI. He increased his batting average 52 points. His OBP went up 40 points. His slugging went up more than 160 points. He nearly doubled his total bases for the season entering today.
Yep, he showed up today having a bad April, and he left today having a great April. Isn't baseball beautiful?
It's amazing. So, Adnan, he's the only player in Major League history to go 6 for 6 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs in a game. How many days do I wake up looking at box scores thinking I'm going to see something interesting here?
Yeah.
We've never seen that before.
That's great baseball trivia for you, no doubt. Still to come here on Baseball Tonight's Sunday Night Countdown, Andrew Benintendi. You heard Tex mention the Killer Bees. He's one of the studs. We'll hear about Benintendi as Buster Olney talked to him coming up.
Swinging a high drive to right field. It's gone!
Benintendi laid into that one, squaring off against Andrew Benintendi.
Your favorite movie? Wedding Crashers. Celebrity crush.
I'm gonna think about this one because I don't want to mess it up. In case I see it, you know. I would say Jennifer Lawrence, probably.
Walk-up song.
I Love This Life by Lil Cash.
Favorite player growing up?
Ken Griffey Jr.
There it goes. There's a moon scraper.
If you weren't a baseball player, you would be?
Professional golfer.
Your personal rules for handling social media?
Don't put anything that I wouldn't say to my mom.
Your favorite emoji?
Probably the crying, the laughing one that has tears coming out of his eyes.
Can you give it to us?
I'd rather not.
Hi, thanks for coming. This year, Chevy received more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards than any other car brand.
I'm very, very impressed.
Did I mention they received more of them last year, too?
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
And the year before that. And the year before that.
So it keeps going.
In fact, Chevy has received more J.D. Power Awards for initial quality than any other car company, 4 years in a row.
I'm speechless. Impressive. Chevy stepping up their game.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you.
I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it.
Is this suede?
It's suede.
I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Pep Boys, Target, Ace, O'Reilly Auto, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
Introducing the LG G6, the big screen that fits in your hand. Buy one LG G6 and get one free at AT&T, plus a Google Home on us.
First, they're sharp blades, then shielding lubrication and cooling. Brr. With lubrication before and after the blades. Shields and cools while you shave. Pro Shield Chill from Gillette.
Anyone can say fresh, but Wendy's does fresh. Like the new fresh mozzarella chicken sandwich and salad, made with fresh chopped produce, freshly grilled chicken, and of course, fresh mozzarella cheese. So try Wendy's new fresh mozzarella chicken sandwich and salad today.
This is Brooks Yard, with cute kids, an adorable dog, and ugly bare spots. Bare spots that are hard to fix using seed alone. But Scott's Easy Seed changes everything. It's an all-in-one solution. Our finest grass seed, plus quick start fertilizer and natural super absorbent mulch. Grow grass anywhere. The very first time, guaranteed. Bare spots be gone. This is a Scott's Yard.
You got those eyes staring into my soul.
After becoming one of the largest broadband companies in the country, after expanding our fiber network coast to coast,
These are the places we call home. We are CenturyLink. We believe in the power of the digital world. The power to connect. And that's what drives us every day.
That was really good.
Thank you.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday on ESPN.
Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, is presented by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 3 years in a row. And in part by the LG G6, the big screen that fits in your hand.
Cubs visiting the Red Sox tonight, a game featuring the teams who play in the oldest and perhaps most treasured Major League Baseball ballparks. Fenway Park, the older of the two, opened in 1912. It's where Kevin Costner, yes, once heard, "Go the distance." Today, Jen Latta reporting a story about an inspiring young man with his own Field of Dreams.
Thomas, he's always been absorbing the Red Sox. When he was really little, we would put him to bed in his room, and he would listen to the games on the radio, and that's how he fell asleep. And when he was able to start talking, he was telling us about the games.
Winter Wally hat. Big Poppy Fuzzy Dice. Red Sox lunchbox. Fenway Franks.
Here you go. Few things bring Connecticut fifth grader Thomas Hastings more joy than baseball and his beloved team from Boston.
This is the Red Sox gnome. He was born before the Red Sox were even a team. They were the Boston Americans. Right, gnome?
For a kid who's 10 years old, he has an incredible sense of history and incredible appreciation for the past and traditions.
But Thomas's past hasn't always been easy. He was born 6 weeks premature and diagnosed with scoliosis. Right after his first birthday, his family learned he also had muscular dystrophy.
It's a progressive disease. There is no cure, and he will slowly lose his ability to walk. When Thomas was 3, his scoliosis got so bad that they installed metal rods in his back. Since that point, he's had 14 more surgeries to install and correct and realign these rods.
Thomas is a really tough kid. He has a pain tolerance that I think that most of us just cannot understand.
Baseball is Thomas's refuge, so it was only natural that when his family teamed up with Make-A-Wish, his wish would focus on his favorite thing.
I wanted a baseball field. I was just expecting I would get a little area, and I thought it would just be a fence at like the public baseball field.
Make-A-Wish got a hold of the Red Sox. And who's the best person to get involved except the head groundskeeper of Fenway Park?
I was very moved when I heard about Thomas's wish. He was such an inspiration, and the whole family is.
He told Thomas that the Red Sox are going to donate the exact same sod that they use at Fenway Park.
But it wasn't just sod. Inspired by Thomas's drawings, volunteers brought the neighborhood ballpark to his neighborhood. And like any baseball success story, it took teamwork to build something special.
There were 40 contractors and vendors, from painters to electricians to plumbers to excavators to landscapers, to really make it into Fenway Park.
We couldn't believe that these people were taking time away from their own families on a project that they weren't getting paid for.
Even if they didn't know me, they cared about making a field for me, and it makes me happy.
No ordinary field, the Hastings Yard transformed to a 25% scaled replica of Fenway Park. Unveiled on October 22, 2016, it took just 37 days to make Thomas's Fantasy Fenway a reality.
Here he comes out of the bullpen now to relieve Thomas T-Ball Hastings.
I struck some people out, and it was fun. And then I got 2 inside the park home runs.
He was just like a kid in a candy store. After all the time that he felt like, I can't play what other people are playing. This field, there's nothing he can't do.
He can play and not have anyone like judge him about how he can or can't run or can or can't hit. And he just likes to be out there, and it's kind of his safe place.
I honestly feel that this field has improved Thomas's health. He goes out on that field and everything disappears. He is Thomas Hastings playing for the Boston Red Sox in Fenway Park.
And that makes me feel really, 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 really happy. Yay!
Jen Latta reporting. Look for ESPN and Make-A-Wish's partnership to continue with our annual My Wish series this July. Wonderful story there, but Thomas's Fantasy Fenway also fully accessible for him in his wheelchair, so he can sit atop the Green Monster anytime he wants. Favorite ballpark for you, Mark Teixeira?
Well, besides that one for Thomas, I have to say Safeco Field in Seattle. I mean, always love going to Seattle. Beautiful ballpark, great fans. Something about that retractable roof. So, you know, it didn't rain on you, but you still had the wind blowing. It's just a perfect ballpark.
For you, Tim?
Well, Fenway and Wrigley are over there in a different category, but of the new ones, Camden Yards is still my favorite. Tex was saying 25 years later, it still looks almost new. And it, of course, was the ballpark that started all the retro parks coming, including Safeco, PNC, San Francisco, all of them fabulous.
AT&T, phenomenal. The smell of the garlic fries, McCovey's Cove, amazing. Orioles and the Yankees. Let's check out highlights featuring a couple of teams in the American League East. You thought that Mets game was wild? Get ready for this. So we'll pick it up 4-2 in the ninth. Chase Headley's up. And the play to second, the ball gets away.
Well, the weird thing about this is Buck didn't know what was called. They're just letting guys move up. Was it a balk? Was it obstruction? No one really knew.
Home plate umpire Stu Shoewater made this call and called it obstruction and sent the runner to third, which is why Buck is livid. How can the home plate umpire make this call?
I haven't seen him that red-faced in a long time.
The seats here at Fenway are red, but not as red as Buck's face right now.
So Buck gets his money's worth. He's gone. And listen, the Yankees are going for the kill here. Didi Gregorius ties it up.
Didi just came off the DL. I mean, this is the Yankees. Talk about the Yankees getting better. Now that Gregorius is back, Manning shortstop. This team keeps getting better every single day.
And it's 4-all now as Gregorius and the Yankees tied up to the 10th inning we go. And how much more drama can we get, Tim?
We have a pitcher at first base. I couldn't remember the last time a pitcher played a defensive position other than the outfield. He's at first base.
Make the catch, make the catch.
Once Tex left New York, like, let's put anybody over there. Anyone can play first.
No, nobody can replace Mark Teixeira at
the guy that followed Teixeira with the Yankees. He's a pitcher.
Give him another chance. There we go. There it is, Mitch.
Oh, man. What a crazy adventure for the Yankees in the 10th as Aroldis Chapman is all smiles. And later on, Mitchell goes, all right, hey, big round of applause here. Way to get through it, man. Aaron Judge, maybe he's going to end it. Bases loaded 4-all. No.
The guy you want up there, but that was a really good pitch. You know, Judge had to chase. Can't blame him for that one.
Absolute miracle they got out of that inning still tied. And now Brian Mitchell is pitching again. Chuck Krim was the last guy to pitch, go to first base, and go back to pitcher. That was in 1989.
This is just messing with the baseball gods here. You have a pitcher playing first base.
And so the Orioles win this one 7-4 is the final. Tim is fond of expression, a circle game, meaning a critical game when you look back. This felt like a circle game for both teams.
For both teams, right? You know, the Orioles had 2 tough losses in a row. You think that they got to win this game. Finally, they get over the hump here. But if the Yankees would have swept the Orioles here, sole position of first place, they could have said, you know what, we believe in ourselves now. They probably already do.
Sure.
But we really think that we have a team that can do some damage this year.
Well, that was one of the greatest, one of the worst, one of the stupidest games I've ever seen, but that's what made it so beautiful. And in the end, Joe Girardi was trying to win that game with Brian Mitchell at first base, knowing I need him for later innings. He's like the only pitcher we got left other than Tommy Lane. I understand what Joe Girardi was doing, but you're wondering what?
Well, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I think, Joe Girardi does a really good job with his bullpen most of the time. This just didn't work out. I mean, you're playing with fire here, putting Mitchell at first base. 35 minutes in between his pitches from the time that he left the game, played first base, and came back in the game to pitch. That's too long for a reliever.
So they mess with the baseball gods. The baseball gods are
undefeated,
undefeated,
They will always
aren't
win.
they?
The baseball gods will always win.
It's a good thing Aaron Judge didn't end it, because Tim's head would have exploded. He wouldn't have been able to do the show with us tonight.
Anyway.
Wednesday Night Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays taking on Aaron Judge and the Yankees. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, and watch ESPN. Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Well, what is it like to be a guy who reversed the curse in not just one city, but 2 of them? Theo Epstein's back in Boston. He'll reflect when we come back.
Hi, I'm Javier Baez.
Hi, I'm Anthony Rizzo.
Base hit, and that'll do it. Jay in to score, and the Cubs raise the banner.
Hi, I'm Chris Bryant.
Hi, I'm Jason Hayward.
Ripped into right center field and deep. Back goes Osuna. He looks up. It's gone. Jason Hayward.
And you're watching.
Baseball Tonight.
Garden weeds are scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can banish them without harming plants nearby. So draw the line. Give the stick one click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Experience it at IMAX. Rated R.
Let me guess, you left your wallet in your other pants.
Yes, and I need to get some cash right away. I can't be late to the game.
Do you have the Wells Fargo mobile app on your phone?
Yes.
You can use it to get a one-time access code to get cash at our ATMs.
Oh, that's better. Thank you so much. You know the team needs me.
Of course they do.
No, seriously, they can't win without me.
I'm a wild child. I don't need a touch screen. I need to feel something real.
Nature is my playground. And this is my participation trophy.
I need to experience things, make memories, but I can't make it there on my own.
I need you to take me fishing.
Tired of paying hundreds more a year in taxes and fees on your wireless bill? Only T-Mobile One gives you unlimited data with taxes and fees included. That'll save you hundreds. Get 2 lines of unlimited data for $100. That's right, 2 lines, $100 all in. And now the brand new Samsung Galaxy S8 is here. So what are you waiting for? Get the new Galaxy S8. Plus get 2 lines of unlimited data for $100. Taxes and fees included. Only at T-Mobile.
You got those eyes staring to my soul.
After becoming one of the largest broadband companies in the country, after expanding our fiber network coast to coast, these are the places we call home. We are CenturyLink. We believe in the power of the digital world, the power to connect, and that's what drives us every day.
That was really good.
Thank you.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
The #1 rated Ego Power Plus string trimmer outperforms gas. Featuring a high-efficiency brushless motor, it runs up to 45 minutes on a single charge. The Ego Power Plus string trimmer, exclusively at the Home Depot and Ego authorized dealers.
It's time for Scott's MLB Pitch Hit and Run, the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. Sign up today and play your way to the national finals, and you'll get the chance to compete during All-Star Week in Miami. Sign up for free at pitchhitrun.com.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Today, your heart is being cradled in a mold, a brand new T-Rex mold. Just look at that thing. So many nooks, so many crannies, so many opportunities for a Jurassic failure. But this is for Henry, the middle child. And there will be no hand-me-downs, because today, you show that cake who's boss. You, Pam, do it.
You're watching Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, presented by Chevrolet.
The Red Sox lost a giant.
Thank you very much.
Will the acquisition of an ace,
a swing and a miss, and Chris Sale strikes out the side,
help the Sox set sail on a title cruise?
And that's the ball game. The Red Sox win it.
The Boston Red Sox have big-time aspirations, and they know that Andrew Benintendi is a big-time player for them. A couple of home runs and 3 RBIs so far in this series against the Chicago Cubs. One of the cornerstones, and Buster Olney spoke to him.
The Red Sox outfielders get a lot of attention for the outfield dance. For the 2017 version, how much preparation was there?
It all started in spring training. We were kind of trying to think about what to do, and the fans love it, so we figured we'd keep doing it. And we didn't really throw it together till before opening day. We never practiced it, so just kind of threw it together, and people love it so far, so we're going to keep doing it.
Whose idea was this year's dance?
I think either Mookie or CY. So, yeah, they usually come up with the moves, and you know, I just do what I'm told.
How much did you guys practice that dance?
We didn't really practice at all. We never rehearsed it or anything. We just kind of went out there and did it.
You're a center fielder. You can throw, you can run. So what have you learned about applying your skills to playing left field in Fenway Park?
Obviously, it's different. You play a lot more shallow, and you know, those balls that are, you know, high fly balls that hit the left are either home runs here or off the wall. So I think just getting it in quick, you know, it's obviously a shorter throw, so if you can keep those balls off the wall to singles, that's what your goal is. Me and Ruben work out there all the time, getting in work, hitting balls off the wall, so I think just getting repetition, it's coming along.
You're not a very big guy. Where do you think your power comes from?
I don't know. I mean, I think I have a pretty quick swing. A lot of the time the pitcher produces the power, so most of the time you just got to get the barrel to it, and it seems to go.
After your freshman year, you started weight training more. How much of a difference do you think that made for you?
That's definitely helped a lot. You know, that summer, my freshman year at Arkansas, I got a little injury and I didn't play summer ball, and that's when I really focused on getting bigger and stronger, and put on about 15 to 20 pounds. And when I came back for fall ball, I was hitting the ball farther and harder, so I think it just kind of translated, and you know, it's got me here.
Define the Boston Red Sox offense in 2017.
I think we're, you know, strong up and down the lineup. I think, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of talk about not hitting home runs, but I think we're a team where we just trust the guy behind us, and you know, we're going to take our walks, take our singles, and, you know, let the rest of the lineup do their job.
All right, Buster, thank you very much. In his short time in the big leagues, Benintendi has been better as the situation calls for it. Batting average and his OPS are higher with runners on base than they are with the bases empty, and even higher with runners in scoring position. Now we take a look back at the images of the month.
Away we go, 2017 baseball season.
The sights, the smells, all the feels on opening day.
Welcome back, baseball.
Opening day, one of the better days of the year.
Big fly for Mike Trout. Third home run he's hit on opening day.
Welcome back to New York, Bartolo Colon.
Welcome to Boston, Chris
sand. This slider was nasty.
That has to be one of the worst pitches of all time.
I have never seen that before. Your Chicago Cubs 2016 World Series championship banner.
All across the country, every player will be wearing 42.
Dustin Pedroia is shaken up.
It's a late slide.
It's just a bad situation, man. It's not baseball.
Bad news in baseball, Starling Marte, 80-game suspension.
Definitely not the most responsible decision I made.
Adam Eaton is hurt.
Devastating injury.
See you later!
Cespedes, his third home run of the night. Matt Kemp with a trifecta.
He will get the cycle!
5 in a row for Eric Thames.
Rendon drives in 10 runs.
Dozen in the very first inning.
Oh, mercy! Got it! Wow! That's the platinum play right there.
One of the most unbelievable slides you'll ever see.
Unbelievable. The nightmare behind the plate.
See you later!
This is Judgment Day.
Ichiro in Seattle.
Strike home safely!
One more time for your 2016 World Series champion Chicago Cubs.
So far, it has been a spectacular start to the season. We've got first pitch coming up between the Cubs and Red Sox just about 27 minutes away. Tex, what's so far been your image of the month?
I think the most shocking thing for me so far this season is the Toronto Blue Jays being in the cellar in the AL East. I mean, this team, you looked at them to start the season and said, they could go all the way. I mean, that pitching staff was getting better. You got Bautista back. Another year of Donaldson doing his thing. I thought they were going to be fighting the Red Sox tooth and nail for this division.
The Deb won back-to-back games for the first time, and it's their first series win coming down the month. So, ending on a positive note, Tim. Go ahead.
And I love it that Mookie Betts went 129 straight plate appearances without a strikeout. In a strikeout era, Byron Buxton had over 50 strikeouts in the time that Mookie Betts had 0. That's the longest since Juan Pierre in 2004. And then last night, Caleb Joseph of the Orioles knocked in a run for the first time in 193 plate appearances, which was the longest since Juan Pierre. On the air.
Of course.
For two different things, only in baseball.
Those are some great questions. So make sure you join us as maybe Boston will keep it going. As they'll take on the Baltimore Orioles, we've got all the action for you. Manny Machado, Benintendi, among the stars you'll see. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Also available on Watch ESPN, and Tim will be a part of the game. Just another reason to watch this one.
Hi, I'm Xander Bogaerts. Hi, I'm Andrew Benintendi.
High fly ball right field, well struck. Back, it is gone!
Hi, I'm Chris Sale.
Sale fires home, and strike 3 called. 12 punch-outs for Chris Sale in 7 innings.
And you're watching baseball tonight.
This is Brooks Yard, with cute kids, an adorable dog, and ugly bare spots. Bare spots that are hard to fix using seed alone. But Scott's Easy Seed changes everything. It's an all-in-one solution. Our finest grass seed, plus quick start fertilizer and natural super absorbent mulch. Grow grass anywhere. The very first time, guaranteed. Bare spots be gone. This is a Scott's Yard.
Rules? There are no rules for TV anymore. Now anything can be a TV show.
Amazing hedgehogs.
We gorge on a season in one sitting. We won't be needing these guys anymore. We can even watch on 5 devices. All at once. The rules of TV have changed. It's time to change how you get it.
You inherit lots of traits from your family. My ancestor, Lady Beatrice, introduced the Elizabethan ruff. Great-grandfather Horatio went west during the gold rush. And Aunt Susan was a world champion. I inherited their can-do spirit and their double chin. Now I'm going to do something about it.
Kybella is the first of its kind injectable treatment that destroys fat under the chin, leaving an improved profile. Kybella is an FDA-approved non-surgical treatment for adults with a moderate amount of fullness, or a bit more. Don't receive Kybella if you have an infection in the treatment area. Kybella can cause nerve injury in the jaw, resulting in an uneven smile or facial muscle weakness and trouble swallowing. Tell your doctor about all medical conditions, including if you have had or plan to have surgery or cosmetic treatments on your face, neck, or chin, have had or have medical conditions in or near your neck, or have bleeding problems. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take. The most common side effects are swelling, bruising, pain, numbness, redness, and areas of hardness in the treatment area. Save $100 on a treatment. Learn more at mykybella.com.
I have seen with my own eyes the hidden civilization.
The Lost City of Z is the New York Times critics' pick, with an impact that's every bit as powerful as Apocalypse Now. 5 stars, off the charts, everything you could possibly want in an adventure.
You must turn back. There is no turning back.
And Vanity Fair declares it's breathtaking in scope. Experience one of the year's best movies.
I call it set, and we must find it.
The Lost City of Z, rated PG-13, now playing everywhere.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our new ESPN mascot, Baby Groot. He's really being embraced by our staff.
He's just not that cute. I mean, he looks like a dog chew toy or something. I love him.
Whatever you do, do not touch that button. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What do you think about ESPN's new mascot?
Oh, my man, Baby Groot.
Wait.
I am Groot.
If you get up early to get more done, if you believe hard work makes you stronger, don't settle for anything less than the hardest working, smoothest riding side-by-side ever built. Polaris Rangers help you haul more, pull more, dump more, and make more of your free time when the work is done. Polaris Ranger, like you, we're driven to do more. And now's the time to get up to $1,200 cash back during the Polaris Spring Sales Event.
So we're saving the galaxy again? Awesome!
See that? How the Guardians of the Galaxy come together to be awesome? Guys, that's teamwork. Like cookies and brownies coming together to form Brookies and this Guardians Awesome Mix Blizzard. Hey, Jen, that's enough. Star-Lord's clean.
What?
Jen, we talked about this.
The new DQ Guardians Awesome Mix Blizzard, an awesome mix of Brookie Pieces, caramel, and Choco Chunks. See Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in theaters May 5th.
You're watching Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, presented by Chevrolet. The Red Sox and Cubs had 2 of the 3 longest World Series droughts in Major League Baseball history. In 2004, the Sox snapped an 85-year drought, winning for the first time since 1918, which is when they beat the Cubs. Theo Epstein's a guy who's been in the midst of it, not only for Boston and Chicago. Pedro Gomez catching up with Theo on his return back to Boston.
And the World Series is over. After 86 years, the Boston Red Sox are the champions of the baseball world.
For the first time in 108 years, the Chicago Cubs are World Series champions.
04 for me, you know, I was so young, so immature, so inexperienced, so over my head. That whole saga, like getting the job at 28, the heartbreak of 03 when Aaron Boone walked us off.
Another very cruel and unbelievable ending.
The triumph in 04, coming back against the Yankees and winning the whole thing.
The Boston Red Sox have pulled the greatest victory in team history.
That whole thing just seemed like one wild ride. We never came up for air. It seemed like one crazy night out that lasts forever, and you wake up the next morning, you just know you had a great time. By contrast, 16, you know, I'm older, grayer, got 2 kids now. Hopefully I have a little bit better perspective, a little bit more maturity. And in 16, I had a much better appreciation for how hard it is to get there, and a better real-time understanding of the historical significance and how it would change a lot of people's lives. I loved every second of both championships, but I had different perspectives because I was at different places in my life. The longer you're in baseball, the more you realize how humbling a sport it is, right? And it's precisely when you think you have it figured out that the game will just level you. And if you're on top 1 minute, don't let it go to your head because there's adversity right around the corner. With time, you appreciate the successes because you know they could have gone different ways. Zobrist's ball is a foot farther off the line. That's a double play ball. Maybe we don't win that game, and people are asking, you had a 5-year plan to win a World Series. It's been 5 years, how come you didn't win? if Dave Roberts is thrown out, he was safe by an inch. If Jeter gets that tag down, a millisecond quicker and Dave Roberts is out, we get swept by the Yankees. There's no championship in 04. I might not even be working in baseball. I definitely wouldn't be running the Cubs. So success doesn't last, and that's not how you really want to always evaluate yourself. The things that do last are the relationships and the people that you sacrifice with, the connections that you make that lift up the whole organization and then end up enriching your life. And that's what I think about. I'm really lucky. I'll be sitting here at Fenway Park rooting against the Red Sox, which is something I never thought I'd do my whole life. I've been looking forward to this ever since the schedule came out. It's really cool to be able to go back and relive some of the good times and see people who are so important to me.
The OFC certainly never have to buy a drink in either Boston or Chicago. Kyle Hendricks gets a start for Chicago. What do you expect from him, Tex?
Well, keep the ball down. I mean, we talk about the Red Sox not having the power this year. One way to keep the ball in the ballpark is, have Hendricks work the lower part of that zone.
And Andrew Benintendi, Tim, will be one of the players that Boston's offense will hope can carry the slack against Hendricks.
I told you, a scout told me in spring training, at the end of the year, Andrew Benintendi will be the best hitter on the Red Sox. On this team, I went, whoa!
Good scout.
That's how good a hitter that kid could be.
Red Sox fans would love to see it. Scott's MLB Pitch Hit and Run is the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. It's free for boys and girls ages 7 to 14. Play your way to the national finals and have the chance to compete during All-Star Week in Miami. Find a local competition in your area at pitchhitrun.com. Going, gone of the month and web gems of the week. Coming back on the other side. Stay with us.
Officials are reporting this new Doritos mix is responsible for the worldwide bold outbreak.
Woohoo! Over to you, Tom! Things have gone totally around the bend! Come on, boys! Raring to go!
They call us new Doritos mix! There is boldness everywhere!
Doritos. I quit! Has the world gone completely bold? New Doritos mix. 4 snacks in 1.
What kind of a man would you become had you inherited your father's kingdom instead of being raised in the gutter?
I'm gonna kill him. You don't need an army. You just need this little rabble.
You're playing with fire.
But doesn't it make the palace burn well?
Rated PG-13.
Are you back? Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there.
What a day.
With car insurance for when things go wrong.
What a day!
But also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Advance Auto, Target, Home Depot, Walgreens, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
You said you wanted to feel better about your cereal. General Mills Big G cereals hear you. That's why we say yes to whole grain as our first ingredient, and no way to high fructose corn syrup. So no matter what your favorite is, you can feel good about General Mills Big G cereals.
First, they're sharp blades, then shielding lubrication and cooling. Brr. With lubrication before and after the blades. Shields and cools while you shave. Pro Shield Chill from Gillette.
Wendy's Double Stack is still an option in the 4 for $4. With a quarter pound of fresh beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. Like how owls shouldn't be able to turn their heads all the way around.
Whew, wouldn't like that deal.
The Double Stack and the 4 for $4. A deal so great, it's impossibly good, but not for long.
Garden weeds are scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can banish them without harming plants nearby. So draw the line. Give the stick one click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel.
You got those eyes staring to my soul.
After becoming one of the largest broadband companies in the country, after expanding our fiber network coast to coast, these are the places we call home. We are CenturyLink. We believe in the power of the digital world, the power to connect, and that's what drives us every day.
That was really good.
Thank you.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
As we proceed to give you what you need.
Might you take a role with the Lakers?
If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I want to be the heir to the throne. That boy can have his own money.
All right.
You drive a Maserati. I got paper too.
Okay, and I'm happy to take it.
Man, we playing dollars with Ice Cube.
You got to do it. But here's the thing is that if you're the type of person that dishes it out, you better be the type of person that can take it. No, you see, you just...
Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, is presented by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 3 years in a row.
An update first on the Padres and the Giants. 2-all in the 12th, and Will Myers goes deep.
Will Myers having a very good year so far, and he's got tremendous power.
7 home runs so far. The going, gone of the month as 4 players led the way in April. Eric Thames and Ryan Zimmerman led the NL 11 home runs each, and Chris Davis, Aaron Judge led the AL 10 home runs each.
Judge is one of 3 rookies ever to hit 10 homers in April.
Tex, the longest home run of April, Jake Lamb, 468 feet.
And that's a great place to hit. I'm not sure if you can hit one further than 468, though, even in Arizona.
Hardest home run of April, Joey Gallo, Timmy. 123.6 miles per hour, and he took aim at a popcorn wagon.
And then he hit the hardest ball of the year, and then the highest ball of the year, and went 160 feet at its apex. That's Joey Gallo. Gallo.
There it is. Joey Gallo. 160 feet here. That's that apex.
This is one of my favorite guys in baseball. He swings out of his shoes, and you know what? He's getting some pitches to hit, and he's hammering them right now.
Unbelievable, Joey Gallo. You know, they strike out a bunch, but you're going to hit some home runs like that. We can deal with that, right? We can deal with that. The going, gone of the month. And certainly it's so tough, you know, especially when it's cold. I don't know how you guys do it out here. I was just telling you, the weather dips so much. How do you ever get a home run, much less a hit out here?
I didn't do very much hitting home runs in April.
Get out of here.
I needed it a little bit warmer for my average and my home runs to go up.
And the cold is worse as a defender, right? When your glove actually freezes. I don't think it's that cold tonight.
I think seeing guys across the diamond at shortstop and third base with such great arms and great accuracy in weather like this, that's impressive.
Johnny Oates told me once he used to put his catcher's mitt in a microwave in between innings. Not kidding.
Texas being self-deprecating, by the way. 12 home runs in his career at Fenway Park. It didn't matter when. He could always hit in Boston. Now time for the Web Gems of the week. Best of the best when it comes to defensive excellence. We got you covered with Manuel Margot, number 5. This was on Tuesday. Yasmani Tomas bidding for extra bases. The liner left center. Margot, look at the diving catch.
He's pretty athletic, and he's had a pretty good year power at the plate, too. They might have found an everyday outfielder there.
Surprise play there for San Diego. Taylor Motter of the Mariners. This is James McCann hitting a pop to the right side. Motter going over the tarp, and he will make the catch.
And it's the best hair in the big leagues, right? I mean, look at that flow. I mean, he had no problem going into the stands right there because he knew everyone's going to get a good look at his hair.
Exactly.
Any other sport have a tarp on the field during the game? Really?
Ridiculous. By the way, these Web Gems brought to you by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry. Joey Gallo's everywhere.
He's our favorite player today.
This guy's
the Joey Gallo show.
Seriously, robbing Andrelton Simmons, that hard ground to the left side. Number 2 is Josh Reddick. This was on Tuesday. Jason Kipnis hitting the fly ball to deep center. Reddick reaching over the wall, robbing a home run.
I think people forget how hard these are. I mean, when you're going up against the wall right here, you got to worry about a lot of different things.
And number 1 is Aaron Judge. You mentioned the power. Well, how about this play on Wednesday? Xander Bogaerts, the fly ball to the right field line. And look at Aaron Judge.
He's an athlete. He's a basketball player. And even though he's enormous, 6'7", 280, he can move.
And they had to replace that section of the wall because he went through it.
Thank God there wasn't a fan there. He would have killed him.
Exactly. Aaron Judge is a big man. Certainly carries a lot with him. Coming up next, we look forward to the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs. For Tim Kirchin, Mark Teixeira, I'm Adnan Burke. Thanks for watching Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Cannot wait for the game. Alongside Buster Olney, Jessica Mendoza, Aaron Boone, here's Dan Shulman.
Adnan, thank you. We can't wait as well. The Cubs and Red Sox coming up. It is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. The defending World Series champion Cubs are here at Fenway Park. They've split the first 2 games of the series as they collide again on this chilly night here at Fenway. Rookie Andrew Benintendi on a tear right now for the Red Sox. He's homered in the first 2 games of the series. He and Xander Bogaerts will try to lead the Red Sox to victory tonight. Chris Bryant with a home run in the first inning on Friday night. But then the Red Sox, Benintendi and friends, really got after it at the bottom of the first. They scored 5 runs off Jake Arrieta, and the Red Sox hang on to win 5-4. Yesterday, Miguel Montero hit one of 3 home runs hit by the Cubs in the game. Kyle Schwarber on an 0-2 pitch, down and out of the zone, loops one into center field. An RBI single gives the Cubs the lead. Ben Zobrist a little insurance in the 9th. Wade Davis strikes out the side, bottom 9, and the Cubs win 7-4 to even up the series and a win apiece. Neither team has really hit its stride so far. Cubs at 13-10, Red Sox at 12-11, but obviously for both great talent and poised to be contenders this year. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. Dan Shulman, Jessica Mendoza, and Aaron Boone. Let's start with the World Series champions, and they are led by the Cubs, led by the dynamic duo, of course, of Bryant and Rizzo.
Yeah, they are really carrying the team right now because it kind of feels like at this point in the season, we know where the Cubs are going to end up offensively, but they're kind of sputtering along. But remarkably, they're 5th in the major leagues in runs scored, and they're doing it with their 2 stars. Chris Bryant, who started the year 0 for 13, has caught fire. He's in the midst of a 10-game hitting streak, and he looks like he's really about to start to take off in the power department as well. And then Rizzo right behind him, hitting in the 3-hole. He also got off to a bit of a slow start that first week, but 5 home runs now in the last 8 games. This team really leaning on their 2 superstars in the middle.
And of course, last year the Red Sox really leaned to a certain extent on David Ortiz. What a year he had. The Red Sox by far the best offensive team in baseball in 2016. No Big Papi here, and right now kind of scuffling a little bit offensively. What do you see?
Well, Dan, obviously you're going to see identity shift. I mean, they do not have the big dog in David Ortiz, the MLB leader in OPS and extra base hits. They are going to miss him, but I believe this offense will be just as successful. When you look at who they have, the power numbers are down, but they're still hitting for average. They're still getting on base. This team is way too talented when you go up and down between Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and oh, by the way, the rookie Andrew Benintendi. Too good, even without David Ortiz, not to be successful.
For more on tonight's matchup and these 2 teams, let's go down to field level. Here's Buster Olney.
Dan, the motto of the 2016 Chicago Cubs was embrace the target, because no team faced more pressure last year than the Cubs, all the way through that moment when Chris Bryant threw to first base to end the World Series. Will the team under the most pressure this year? The Boston Red Sox, who won the American League East last year, then added Cy Young candidate Chris Sale. As Yankees general manager Brian Cashman said of them, they are the Golden State Warriors of baseball. It is amid those expectations the Red Sox are taking on the Cubs here tonight at Fenway Park. Dan?
Buster, thank you. 2 historic franchises at 1 historic ballpark here at Fenway Park. and they're as much friends as competitors this weekend, it seems. The 2004 Red Sox World Series Championship Trophy, the 2016 Cubs Trophy, side by side for photo ops here in Boston. Both franchises, of course, they put the curses to bed forever. The Red Sox have won 3 World Series, 04, 07, 13. The Cubs last year, they both got heavy, big-time hopes for this season.
It's obvious they were meant for each other. Always side by side, but never together. Forever trapped in the friend zone. Until finally, they got together at Taco Bell.
Check it out.
I'm talking about the taco and burrito. Double the seasoned beef, fresh lettuce and tomatoes, shredded cheese, and crunchy chips. The new loaded taco burrito, just $1.49, only at Taco Bell.
This is Brooks Yard, with cute kids, an adorable dog, and ugly bare spots. Bare spots that are hard to fix using seed alone. But Scott's Easy Seed changes everything. It's an all-in-one solution. Our finest grass seed, plus quick start fertilizer and natural super absorbent mulch. Grow grass anywhere. The very first time, guaranteed. Bare spots be gone. This is a Scott's Yard.
Success requires hard work. No way around it. Realize timing is key. Trust technology to support you. My father once said, doesn't matter what you do in life, just be the best at it.
Lease a BMW 530i xDrive sedan for $589 a month.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes?
Of course I do.
One of the best things about driving is being able to stop. Get up to $100 back on a 2-axle brake service with your Midas credit card. For brakes, tires, oil, everything. Trust the...
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
How do you become America's best-selling brand?
You're not going to make it.
Do you think you can make it?
Make it every time.
Nice.
Going further to keep drivers moving freely. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Taco Bell's new loaded taco burrito, and in part by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. Well, Theo Epstein has created 2 things, I guess you could say. A team that won 2 World Series championships under his watch here in Boston, and one that won one last year in Chicago. The architect of both franchises ending their curses and winning World Series championships. Theo Epstein spoke with us earlier this week and talked about the difference between the two teams winning their championships.
04 for me, you know, I was so young, so immature, so inexperienced, so over my head. That whole saga, like getting the job at 28, coming together with all those guys I love working with, the heartbreak of 03 when Aaron Boone walked us off, the triumph in 04, coming back against the Yankees and winning the whole thing. That whole thing just seemed like one wild ride. We never came up for air. We weren't able to process it or put it in perspective. It seemed like one crazy night out that lasts forever, and you wake up the next morning, you just know you had a great time. In 16, I watched the games with my wife and son and with the guys that I work with. I had a much better appreciation for how hard it is to get there, how hard it is to get to the postseason, to the World Series, to win a World Series, and a better real-time understanding of the historical significance and how it would change a lot of people's lives, how meaningful the Cubs championship would be for so many people.
And still holding a grudge against Aaron Boone, it sounds like, for what he did in 03. But Theo Epstein, the boy wonder GM for the Red Sox when they won the World Series in 04 and 07, and of course the president of the Cubs when they won the World Series last year in 2016. Let's get to baseball. Cubs and Red Sox. Time now for the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs, presented by Taco Bell.
Well, John Maley, the hitting coach for the Cubs, said once Kyle Schwarber at the top of this lineup gets hot, they are going to kick it up just to a whole nother level of offense. He struggled out the gate, just batting .211, but still getting on base. But the biggest surprise of this season has been the hot bat of Jason Hayward. Really struggled last season, as that was well documented, but you look at not just the batting average, the power, his at-bats, and what he means within this lineup and the year he's having.
On the mound for the Red Sox tonight, 24-year-old left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. He is 1-1 with a .312 ERA, his 5th appearance, 4th start of the season. A guy with great stuff. The command can be a little erratic, tough to hit, but he will issue his walks when his command is not good, so we'll keep an eye on that as Rodriguez gets set to pitch. As you can see, it's a chilly night, and it's a night with a lot of Cub fans, and I mean there have been a lot of Cub fans here at Fenway Park. Nobody involved with the Red Sox can ever remember so many visiting fans in their ballpark. Underway is Kyle Schwarber. Fouls back the first pitch of the ball game. Schwarber, for the 3rd night in a row, acting as the designated hitter here in the American League Park, as the Red Sox go into a shift and then one pitch into it alter the shift. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. The Red Sox will move around as much as anybody defensively, and after that first pitch, Marco Hernandez went over to the right side of second base, and Xander Bogaerts went back to the left side.
And that's simply because once Schwarber has a strike on him, they realize that the bunt is pretty much out of the question. There are times when if you give it to him with no strikes, he'll drop it down just to keep you honest, and after that strike rolls in, it's time to switch it up.
Schwarber right at Pedroia for the first out of the night.
Something to keep an eye on with Rodriguez. Dan touched on the fact that he can be erratic with that command. When he's getting ahead and pounding the strike zone, he's as tough as anyone. Hitters are 2 for 29 this year against him when he gets ahead 0-1, because it just makes his fastball play up, both up and down, and the secondary pitches, the changeup and the slider, become put away.
There are some crazy numbers out there on Eduardo Rodriguez. Won't bog you down with too many as Chris Bryant steps in. Bryant with a home run on Friday night. The reigning National League MVP is on a 10-game hitting streak, hitting close to 400 in that streak with 7 extra base hits, as he takes down an away ball 2. And now the shift on in the opposite direction for Bryant, with 3 infielders away onto the left side of the infield. That's Dustin Pedroia out there playing deep short, and Mitch Moreland all by himself on the right side. Let's get this one in before it potentially could get broken about Eduardo Rodriguez. Right-handed batters such as Bryant are 0 for their last 33 against him. There are 7 walks in there, but 0 for their last 33 for the left-hander against right-handed batters. And it's going to be 0 for 34 as Moreland just does win the race. One of the hazards of the shift, that first baseman plays way off the line, and he's got to be able to get there in time, and Bryant's going to stick around in case they decide to have a look at it.
Well, I think it caught Moreland off guard initially. You always underestimate the athlete and the speed that Bryant has, but taking nothing for granted, he's kind of running out of the box, and you see Moreland realizes real quick that he's coming hard. He goes into the dive and clearly does beat Bryant to the bag.
You just see plays in baseball you never used to see, because defensive positioning is so much different. People are playing in different spots, being forced to make different plays. Gold Glove winner a year ago, Moreland with Texas, as Anthony Rizzo steps in.
But that should tell you right there, if you're Moreland and the Red Sox, you are in the perfect position, playing off the bag. He was in a spot to where he could handle that ground ball, and even though it was close, still in a place where he could beat him to the bag.
I think more than anything, what John Farrell would like to see tonight is some good defense. The Red Sox kicked it around yesterday. They were sloppy, committed 4 errors in the game, and really gift wrapped a couple of runs for the Cubs. Rizzo is hot right now. This is the 9th and final game of this road trip for the Cubs, and in the first 8 games, Rizzo has hit 5 home runs, including one off the knuckleballer Stephen Wright yesterday afternoon.
That's a ball.
And ball 4 outside.
Last night, tough ball to hit. This knuckleball just kind of hangs up high, and you just get a taste of the power of Rizzo, because he really stayed back on that ball, crushed it out into right field. He's been swinging a hot bat this last week.
Brian Rizzo picking right up this year where they left off last year when Bryant won the MVP. Rizzo finished 4th in MVP balloting. So a man on with 2 down for Ben Zobrist, who is at second base tonight for the Cubs, as he was yesterday. He was in left field on Friday. Right now, Javier Baez not swinging the bat all that well. He was getting a lot of time early in the season at second base, coming off that great October that he had and the play in the WBC this spring. But there's a little bit too much swing and miss and chase, and Zobrist getting the start at second, hits one high and deep to left, and it's off the monster on the fly. Rizzo will have to be held at third on a 2-out double by Ben Zobrist.
You'll get an idea of how quick Ben Zobrist's hands are on the pitch that is almost off the plate inside. You see it continuing to have that late action into the hands, and Zobrist does a good job of just getting his hands close to his body. Look how tight they are to his body, and then how quick he's able to get that barrel to the ball. I mean, he barely even gets to extension. That's how good of a job he does at keeping his hands close.
Or they're talking about Benintendi and his adjustment to left field, a center fielder by trade. He plays that ball perfectly off the big monster and left to keep Rizzo at third base.
So second and third, 2 down now as the Cubs threaten with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Glad I got that Eduardo Rodriguez hitless streak against right-handed batters in there earlier. It ended at 0 for 34 on that double by Zobrist, and now Rodriguez faces Addison Russell. The shortstop for the Cubs hit 21 homers, drove in 95 runs a year ago. I would think for players on the Cubs who have never been to Fenway, it's got to be especially cool to come from one baseball cathedral to another baseball cathedral, by far the 2 oldest parks in baseball, just to check out the other team's digs.
Dan, I was out there because I've never been in the Green Monster, and I bumped into Kyle Schwarber, who wanted to go sign the wall. Mookie Betts was out there giving a tour. I mean, you get fans within the teams.
And look, as a hitter, when you come to Fenway Park for the first time, I mean, you can't wait to walk out from the clubhouse and just peek at the wall, just to see what it looks like, and then to go in and take batting practice for the first time and just, you know, see how much I can mishit it and still ride it off that wall. Ben Zobrist just took advantage of it. And that's where that pitch right there is where Rodriguez can be so effective. When he rides that fastball up and in on right-handers, you talk about that hitless streak against right-handers before the Zobrist at bat. The life on that fastball at the top of the zone and in, if you couple that with the fact that when he's commanding his secondary pitches, that's why there's so much promise and so much excitement about what Eduardo Rodriguez can be.
Popped him up shallow center. Bogart's the shortstop. And that's the inning. The Cubs threaten, but they leave a couple of men on. Kyle Hendricks, the National League ERA champ a year ago, to the mound for the Cubs when the Sox come up.
Do you always
always put Cheez-It Grooves in your sandwich?
Of course, they're chips. Chips plus sandwich equals the perfect lunch.
Oh, don't forget the pickle. It's kind of a big deal.
Cheez-It Grooves, chips made with 100% real cheese. Dang right it's a chip.
It's not just a car. It's your daily retreat. Go ahead. Spoil yourself. The ES and ES Hybrid. Experience amazing.
Say, Carl, we have a question about your brokerage fees.
Fees?
What do you have in mind?
I don't know. $4.95 per trade?
And I was wondering if your brokerage offers some sort of guarantee.
Guarantee.
Where we can get our fees and commissions back if we're not happy.
So can you offer me what Schwab is offering?
What's with all the questions?
Ask your broker if they're offering $4.95 online equity trades and a satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like their answer, ask again at Schwab.
You look beat, Butchie. Up late watching the games?
Daughter was out late. It's hard not to worry about your teen driver out on the road.
Liberty Mutual lets you leave worry behind. I heard they offer 24-hour roadside assistance. Saw it in a commercial once.
He'll figure it out.
Liberty stands with you.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night, so he got home safe.
Yeah, my dad says their insurance doesn't have that.
What? You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
47 degrees at game time here at Fenway Park. The Cubs and the Red Sox as we go to the bottom of the first. And a look at the Red Sox lineup right now, presented by Taco Bell.
Well, we've talked about him a ton. Andrew Benintendi, who many think will win the Rookie of the Year this year, off to a great start in the month of April, hitting nearly .330, those 3 home runs. Look for him to just continue his stardom rise. And in the 5-hole, one of the newcomers, Mitchie Two-Bags, leading the major leagues in doubles with 12. Also the reigning Gold Glove Award winner in the American League at first base. So they're hoping to get a two-way player in Mitchie Two-Bags.
That's gonna stick.
You're enjoying that, aren't you? On the mound tonight for the Cubs, right-hander Kyle Hendricks, the National League, the Major League ERA champ a year ago, in fact, with a 2.13 ERA. He is 2-1 with an ERA of 4.5 in his first 4 starts this season, coming off his best effort of the season, 6 shutout innings against the Pirates on Tuesday. Not an overpowering guy, a lot of two-seam fastballs and a lot of changeups from Hendricks. He'll face Xander Bogaerts to get the inning underway. And Bogaerts will take a strike over the outside corner. John Farrell juggled the lineup a couple of days ago. He moved Dustin Pedroia down into the 6th spot, elevated Bogaerts up to the leadoff spot. Bogaerts came up with a triple yesterday, just his 2nd extra base hit of the season. And Dustin Pedroia is 5 for 7. Now, John Farrell says it's not because he's hitting 6, but he's 5 for 7 in the 6th spot over the last 2 days. And when Pedroia was asked about hitting 6th in typical Pedroia fashion, he said, man, I can rake anywhere.
Humble guy.
And he's been raking the last couple of days. Red Sox, as Buster talked about earlier, by far the best offensive team in a baseball year ago. Wasn't even close. Still looking to find their groove. They are starting to hit for a little more power. They're last in the major leagues in home runs, which sounds like a mistake, but they have hit 6 homers in their last 5 games. And when you look at some of the guys they have on the team, Hanley Ramirez hit one to the moon yesterday. I mean, they got some guys who can hit some home runs. That is a foul ball. Mookie Betts, of course, had a sensational year a year ago with 31. He's got 2. Hanley had 30. He's got 2. Jackie Bradley's got pops. Andrew Bogaerts. They'll start hitting more home runs, but there's no question, obviously, they miss the presence and the personality, John Farrell says, of the retired David Ortiz. Zobrist to his right. 1 down. Well, here comes a guy who's hit a home run or 2. In fact, 2 home runs already in this series. Andrew Benintendi, who's off to a great start. Still has rookie status after his time in the big leagues last year. This is his home run off Jake Arrieta on Friday. And he would add another home run on John Lackey yesterday. And this one, look where this one goes, to deep right center over the bullpen. Not that far from the 420 sign in the triangle. Not a big guy, 5'10", 180. But he's got some serious pop.
With cleats on.
Yeah. You know, it was fun listening to Joe Madden talk about Andrew Benintendi. First time seeing him kind of up close and personal, obviously hearing the stories about him. But he brought him up in our meeting with him saying, wow, this kid is special. And he said he's Freddie Lynn. He's the reincarnation of Freddie Lynn, who Joe Madden spent some time with the Angels with back in the day.
And Freddie Lynn, of course, in 1975 as a member of the Red Sox, was the Rookie of the Year and the most valuable player.
Yep. Obviously, Freddie Lynn, a center fielder. Benintendi is a center fielder, but on this team, obviously plays left. But a lot of similarities, even similar in the way they look.
Liner to center field and down for a base hit.
And that's just a great job. We've seen it all weekend. The home runs on balls in, almost in and off the plate. Looks like you're tying Benintendi up, but you're not. He's still able to get the hands inside and get the barrel of the bat to this ball. It's really impressive because he has tremendous plate coverage, but look how short he gets with his arms. Similar to Zobrist in the double early, he just kind of pulls his hands in and keeps this ball back through the middle.
And he's so comfortable hitting that way. That's, I think, what makes him so good at such a young age.
Boone, I think you were underselling Joe Madden talking about Benintendi. He started out by saying, this Benintendi dude.
Yes.
He can run a little bit too. Had a couple of steals so far on the season. The batter now, Mookie Betts, who had not a good but a great 2016 season. Runner-up for the MVP behind Mike Trout. Hit over 300, hit for power, drove in runs, stole bases, played a great right field. You name it, Mookie Betts did it. And had a remarkable streak snap last week. Betts, going back to the end of last year, had gone 129 plate appearances without striking out. 129
in 2017. That just it just doesn't exist, especially for a guy that last year hit 31 home runs.
The last guy to have a longer streak than that was Juan Pierre back in 2004. I think he went 147 plate appearances. And still more walks than strikeouts. You don't see that very often these days either. Not much he can't do.
Well, so far, Hendricks with that fastball, whether it's the sinker, whether it's the cut fastball, has still been around 85 miles an hour, 85, 86 miles an hour. And that's still down from where he lived last year, mostly in that 88 range. We'll see if there's the spread between his fastball and his changeup. They like to see that 8-10 mile an hour difference. They feel like when it's this 85, 86 where he's been for the early part of the season, then when his changeup's in the high 70s, there's not enough of a spread to make those pitches overly effective. As you look at last season, averaging almost more than 2 miles an hour more than so far this season.
Although they did feel it came up a tick in his last start. That was the best velocity he had. He induces a fly ball to shallow center field. Routine for Almora, 2 down. And that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez, who just hit one yesterday that might not have landed yet.
I think it ended up in a parking lot across the street. And this is the power, even though the home runs have it down for the Red Sox, this is the X factor of the big dog they do need in the middle of the lineup to get going, especially with the long ball, as he showed last night against Lackey.
Measured at 469 feet. John Farrell telling us pregame he feels it usually takes Ramirez about 100 at bats to just kind of get locked in and get into a groove. And Hanley can have his valleys, but boy, his peaks are pretty good. His peaks are about as good as anybody's. And without David Ortiz, well, there you go. His peaks are about as good as anybody's. That one might have been hit harder than the one yesterday. And it's 2-0 Red Sox.
They had been trying to go away to Mookie Betts, and I think they're trying to do the same to Hanley Ramirez and get this two-seam fastball blown away off the plate to Ramirez, but it just is a missed spot. Look where it's set up Comes right over the heart of the plate into the cookie zone for Hanley Ramirez. See where the glove is.
And those were just misses, guys, you did not see at all last year from Kyle Hendricks.
To go from low and away to up and in, especially with a bat at the plate like Ramirez.
We had so many of his starts last year where he just repeatedly missed barrels and played perfect catch with the catcher with that fastball changeup combination. So far, it's been a little rough. That is a badly missed spot taken advantage of by Ramirez.
Second home run in as many days, third on the season for Ramirez. 2-0 Boston. And this is Mitch Moreland, the first baseman. I think it's one of the few things we can all agree on, all four of us, bringing Buster in as well. This guy, is he the X factor for this team? Is Hanley Ramirez as big a key as they have in determining how good an offensive team they will be?
Well, it affects how everyone else around him gets pitched to. And when you have just a bat that's feared, it can't just be all right, he hits home runs. It's got to be a bat that's genuinely a fear factor for a team, for a pitcher, because then the guys before him and after him see more strikes. They get pitched to more, and you saw that with David Ortiz when he was in this lineup. Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, they saw more pitches in the strike zone.
I think to be a great offense, and we'll continue on that as we go forward.
That's a tease. To be a great offense.
Well, frustrating inning for Kyle Hendricks because he left one up in the zone to Hanley Ramirez, and Hanley Ramirez hit it right on out of the ballpark over the monster. Early lead, Boston.
Just press clean and let Roomba help with your everyday messes. A full suite of sensors automatically guides Roomba throughout your home, cleaning under furniture, along edges, and in corners. And Roomba's patented 3-stage cleaning system agitates, brushes, and suctions dirt from your floors for up to 2 hours, recharging itself when it needs to, which means your floors are always clean. You and Roomba from iRobot. Better together.
Hi, everybody. This is Pat Hughes. The Chicago Cubs are World Series champions. To commemorate this, BigTimeBats.com is releasing the 2016 World Series champions Louisville Slugger two-tone bat. The full-size bat will have the Cubs logo and the World Series champions logo. The bat is limited to 10,000 individually numbered bats and sells for $129.95. Call Big Time Bats now at 1-866-280-BATS.
This is Brooks Yard, with cute kids, an adorable dog, and ugly bare spots. Bare spots that are hard to fix using seed alone. But Scott's Easy Seed changes everything. It's an all-in-one solution. Our finest grass seed, plus quick start fertilizer and natural super absorbent mulch. Grow grass anywhere. The very first time, guaranteed. Bare spots be gone. This is a Scott's Yard.
You got those eyes staring to my soul.
After becoming one of the largest broadband companies in the country, after expanding our fiber network coast to coast, these are the places we call home. We are CenturyLink. We believe in the power of the digital world, the power to connect, and that's what drives us every day.
That was really good.
Thank you.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Welcome back to Fenway Park in Boston. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, and thanks to a Hanley Ramirez home run at the bottom of the first, the Red Sox enjoy an early 2-0 lead. As Eduardo Rodriguez is back out of the mound, and he will face Jason Hayward to begin the top of the second. Hayward off to a good start this year. Well known how much he struggled last year, but check out one statistical difference as we take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS. Plain and simple, Jess, he's hitting the ball harder this year.
Straight up, he's crushing it.
And that one might not have been 90 miles an hour, but he found some green.
Definitely wasn't crushed, but when you look at his numbers and exit velocity from last season, below average this year, 2 miles to 3 miles above, it makes a difference. And even on this pitch right here, it's just the length of his swing. He hits it off the end of the bat, but it's the confidence, the fact that he's on time, ready to hit this pitch, and he doesn't have to crush it.
Yeah, and that's a slider down and away where he's behind in the count. But Jess, what I love is he's getting ready to hit the fastball, but as a result, he's getting himself in better position more often. And even though he's a little out in front, he's on time with his body, and he's able to dump that ball out to right center.
Makes a big difference for the length of this Cub lineup to have Hayward swinging the bat well. As Wilson Contreras comes up for the first time, the young catcher, second year in the big leagues, first full year in the big leagues. Contreras hitting .254 with a couple of homers. Very strong arm and lots of pop in his bat. One of so many talented young position players really coming into their own at the major league level. Hard to say that this year, considering they won the World Series with this group last year. But boy, in terms of position players, they are still so young. Yeah, they've got Zobrist. Yeah, they've got Hayward, although Hayward's younger than people think he is. But they're just with Contreras and Almora and Baez and Schwarber and Bryant and on and on. So many young guys still coming into their own at the big league level. Didn't even mention Addison Russell. I mean, you lose track of how many great young players they have.
And when you're talking about Anthony Rizzo as the seasoned veteran now.
He's the old man. He's 27.
He's the new grandpa, right?
Yep.
There's a
ball was caught with a beer. Exploded.
It's been a fun weekend here for these Red Sox and Cubs fans.
Not for that one.
He lost a beer and the ball. People were just yelling at him.
But you know what? It's funny. It doesn't feel like a rivalry. There's no animosity whatsoever. It feels like there's a mutual appreciation of what each franchise is and has been and has gone through. A broken bat pop up, and Moreland will make the catch for the first out. Coming up on the MLB calendar this week on ESPN. Tomorrow night you'll see the Red Sox again as they host the Baltimore Orioles. 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. Wednesday night it'll be the Blue Jays of the Bronx against the Yankees, and we'll see the Yankees and the Cubs 1 week from tonight on Sunday Night Baseball. In years where the American League East plays the National League Central, like this year, you get some cool matchups and you get some confused people who can't decide. That guy doesn't know if he's a Cubs fan or a Red Sox fan. He's got both. We got people trying to work it out all over the ballpark right now.
How many fans do you see want to take pictures with both the Red Sox championship trophy and the Cubs? I mean, it's such a communal, just baseball appreciation. No rivalry yet.
No, there was a charity concert last night put on by members of both organizations, including Theo Epstein, the president of the Cubs, who of course used to be the GM of the Red Sox, and the proceeds of the charity concert went to the Red Sox Foundation and to Theo Epstein's foundation. And the 2 World Series championship trophies from 04 and 16 are together side by side here in the ballpark. You can get a photo op.
Players from both teams were there at the concert. Eddie Vedder was rocking it out, a little crowd surfing.
Here's Albert Almora Jr. and a swing and a miss. So we asked Joe Madden, who's this guy going to be? What do you think of this guy? And he said, well, defensively, I think he's Jim Edmonds, who was, for people who are too young to know, and they shouldn't be too young to know, but a great defensive outfielder. Joe Madden spent many years with him with the Angels. And he said, offensively, I saw this video with a juxtaposition. And he's one of the few managers who says the word juxtaposition to us when I think we go into his juxtaposition of his swing with Manny Ramirez. And he said he looks like Manny Ramirez. He thinks this guy, well, great defensive potential, like Gold Glove potential, and also thinks he's got a ton of upside offensively. Bigger than you think, more pop than you expect.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is everyone expects him to be the defender. That's his reputation. That's why he gets the center field slot. But I think the power was the surprising that Joe is very much trying to put out there. This guy might not seem like he's a big guy. He might not seem like the kind of guy that can get double-digit home runs, but he is. His ability to be able to get barrel on ball in a big way.
Chases away, though, for a strikeout in the second out of the inning.
Well, we've seen Eduardo Rodriguez already establish the high fastball with 2 strikes repeatedly. Now he goes to the changeup that it's up, but it's just running away off the plate. And because he's done such a good job making these Cubs hitters respect that fastball and the velocity of it, he commits way too early to this ball and cannot lay off this pitch out of the strike zone.
So Hayward still at first, 2 down now, and the batter is left fielder John Jay, the veteran in his first year with the Cubs. Doesn't play all that much, but when he's in there, he's doing a great job, hitting .389. He is 14 for 36 on the season. And again, it's the flexibility of Ben Zobrist that allows Joe Maddon to mix and match really however he chooses. And Maddon right now says, you know, Baez isn't swinging the bat as well as he can, and he had so much going on in October, so much going on in the winter back at home, so much going on in the WBC. Just thinks, and he used the phrase, maybe a bit of an emotional letdown for Baez, trying to ease him back into situations in which he thinks he can have success. So even with a lefty on the mound tonight, he puts John Jay in there, and he's got tons of trust and faith in him.
Well, I think it's one of those really quality pickups for a team that obviously expects to be back in the postseason. John Jay, with his versatility, can play all 3 of the outfield positions, has all kinds of postseason experience. He's a guy that you can sit on the bench for a couple days and all of a sudden plug in, and it's just that quality at bat against really tough pitching, and that's what he's been early in the season so far for the Cubs. Joe Maddon is in love with John Jay. Pretty good in his 8th season. You see that, 289 batting average, nice on base percentage, just a quality player and more versatility for this versatile Cub roster.
Joe Maddon loves having the DH so he can have more fun with his defense, moving guys around.
That's what John Jay does. Pokes it the other way for a base hit, keeps the inning alive. Hayward up to second.
You know, guys, he could have signed with another team. He told me he had offers from other places, but he said, look, I wanted to play with a winner.
I mean, this is just such a good job. Again, an elevated fastball by design. You see Vasquez up and out of his crouch a little bit. He wants it up there, but John Jay's just so short with his swing and his approach in that situation, just selling out to let the ball get deep and short swing it the other way. He does, and he sets the table now and gives Schwarber an opportunity to get the Cubs back in this game.
Schwarber grounded out his first time up. We mentioned the key RBI single he had yesterday on an 0-2 pitch down and away from him. Didn't hit it hard, but he blooped it into center. That gave the Cubs the lead in the 7th inning, 5-4. They went on to win 7-4. Before that base hit, he had struck out 6 times in the series, and you can see for the numbers, not the numbers you expect from Schwarber, who hasn't been around that long, but has obviously in a short time just proven that he's capable of being a really good major league hitter.
Dan, how scary is it when you look at Schwarber at the top of this lineup and the fact that he hasn't even gotten going yet? And this is the murderer's row, and this is a long, lengthy lineup that we've talked about with a lot of great hitters, but with Schwarber, Bryant, and Rizzo, just wait for this guy to get hot. And it's going to be a tough bout for any pitcher facing them.
Rizzo, a couple of spots away. Bryant out in the on deck circle right now. Red Sox winning 5-4. Thrilling ending Friday night. Felt like a World Series game, everybody who was here said, with Craig Kimbrell on the mound in the 9th inning, throwing 100 miles an hour, and the Cubs trying to scratch out a run to get back into it. Boston wins. The Cubs coming back with a win of their own yesterday to even up the series. Another ground ball. This one tricky. Great diving stop, and on to first in time. A very good play by Bogarts as Schwarber is retired, and that will end the inning. Tried to sneak it through the shift on the right side, just couldn't quite get it there. Terrific defensive play. The Cubs strand a couple.
At Honda, we're proud of our heritage. Like with the Civic. It's stylish.
And fast, with great performance and handling. All things we learned building engines like this. So hurry in to the Honda Dream Garage sales event.
Right now, you could get a great deal on the Fit.
Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
This season on baseball, we've all seen some great ones. But these young shortstops, this group, might just be the best. Correa, Seager, Russell, Lindor, Crawford, Bogart, Story, and a whole crop behind them. Yep, this generation has a chance to be special. Now it's time to find out who's best. That's this season on baseball.
2-0, the Red Sox lead the Cubs as we go to the bottom of the second here at Fenway Park in Boston, which is the oldest ballpark in baseball. Fenway opened in 1912, and Wrigley Field wasn't far behind. Wrigley opened to the north side of Chicago just a couple of years later. 8,269 games here, and Wrigley, which opened 2 years later, is second. 8,123 games at Wrigley. The two oldest active ballparks and the two ballparks ever with the most games played in them. Fenway #1, Wrigley #2. Tim Kirkjian talked about it on Baseball Tonight before the game. I say the same thing whenever I get asked, what's your favorite ballpark? These two go in a whole separate category. You can have a conversation about the other 28, and you can have a conversation about these two. So when it comes to these two, Aaron, you played extensively in both ballparks, Wrigley and Fenway. Which one? I don't want to say did you enjoy more as a player,
right?
As Dustin Pedroia steps in to begin the inning.
What are you saying, Dan?
I'm going to get there. Well, let's let one pitch go by, and then I'll get there. Which one did you walk into and go, man, this is really cool? Was one of them cooler than the other to you?
Well, my opinion is clouded because it always comes down to where did I hit better? So the answer is Wrigley Field.
All right.
But you know, now coming as a fan, I got to come here with one of my sons a couple years ago, and it was the first time I really just walked around and kind of drank in this whole place as a fan and got up close with the wall as a fan. And
Pedroia, another hit. He's now 6 for 8 in the series.
And got to watch a game here Friday night from a box on a beautiful night, Cubs and Red Sox. And man, if you have the right seat here at Fenway Park on a summer night in a big game, this place is really special.
And if you're like 5'10" and under you, it's a little bit easier on the knees too.
True.
Why do you think the monster, you said you hit better at Wrigley. Can the monster work against you because you try too hard to hit one over the monster?
Perhaps. Yeah. I think by and large though, for hitters, it's been an excellent thing.
Yeah.
When you think about left-handed hitters and David Ortiz and how much he's taken advantage, and Wade Boggs and Ted Williams, all guys that have been so good at using that wall. I should say Carl Yastrzemski, more of a guy that used that wall more than Ted did. But I think it's made really good left-handed hitters even greater because it's forced them to use the other way, and it's taken their power the other way into play. And for righties, though, I mean, the fact that that wall is sitting out there close to your pull side, I think over the long haul is a good thing.
We're told you hit 250 here at Fenway. You hit 344 at Wrigley.
See, so that's an easy. That's
yeah.
easy, right?
Yeah, that's an easy answer.
So I didn't know those exact, but
oh yeah, you did.
No, but I could tell you.
Feel.
Yeah.
You know, that shapes or warps my perception of a ballpark more than anything.
I understand. Silly me to think I could get a different kind of
There's
answer.
certain ballparks that are great that I'm like, no, that place is terrible.
What about you, Jess? The first time, when was the first time you came to each of these ballparks? Was it before you started working with us? Had you been to either?
Yeah, Wrigley, I came as a fan. I was playing in Chicago pro ball, and I went with my parents and my husband. We sat out in the bleachers, and they found out it was our first game, and food, drinks, Cubs gear. It was a ton of fun. My first time here, this ballpark was 6 months ago. And it was a bucket list item, like even before I knew that I'd ever be here in this space. But to your point, I don't think I ever soaked it in until this weekend, because I came here with my husband. I did more of the fan thing, sat in the stands with a burger, and just really like looked around and got to feel like the history. And I mean, I'm a history nerd, but I feel like that's what makes baseball great. It's all of it. It's not just what's going on the field.
And I think both of the ballparks, Wrigley and Fenway, have done an amazing job at updating and making them modern, but still keeping the charm that these cathedrals both have.
They have an organic garden here that they pick like their local produce to put in the food. This is at Fenway. It's been here since 1912. So they also have the mindset of meeting the needs of all fans.
Christian Vasquez is the batter, young catcher for the Red Sox. Look at these numbers. He's 14 for 31, known for his defense, especially a cannon of an arm. He's hitting extremely well. Sandy Leon, who hit so well last year for the Red Sox, is 2 for his last 34. So Vasquez starting to get more and more of the playing time. Well, he plays with a lot of energy behind the plate too. Both of these catchers, Vasquez and Contreras, both young, both really strong arms, and both with real kind of take charge attitudes and a lot of energy in their game.
And a lot of confidence from the get-go. I mean, they both came up and there wasn't a whole lot of fear.
There's Leon, who had such a great run, especially at the beginning of last year, and wound up hitting over 300 for a guy who'd kind of been a 200 hitter through his major league career. But right now, Vasquez getting more and more of the playing time. And teams just don't run on him very much. His reputation preceded him. His arm, everybody knew about it even before he got to the big leagues. And this is a guy, you don't hear this very much, a catcher who had Tommy John surgery, missed the entire 2015 season because of it.
Well, and if he keeps swinging the bat like he has to start this year, 452 to get it rolling, I mean, that's just a bonus with what he brings. He is a premium defensive catcher that they feel like is going to impact the staff, and then his ability to catch, block, and throw, as you've touched on.
Got a piece. Kyle Hendricks trying to find that form from 2016. As we mentioned, coming off his best start of the season against Pittsburgh on Tuesday, but gave up a booming home run to Hanley Ramirez in the first inning, a 2-run rocket that sailed through the light tower and over the monster. Good at bat here by Vasquez.
I mean, this is what he's done so good early on, is use the other part of the field. And teams are taking notice. He's worked the ball the other way so well. And if you look at Jason Hayward out in right field for the Cubs, he's playing almost in a spot that's like a left-handed pull hitter. I mean, close to the line over there, but still deep enough because they respect his ability and his commitment to really go the other way. Oh, nice play down. Tough hop, handled.
Cold night.
And a quick souvenir. Look at this little in-between hop down here down the left field line.
She read it well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kicking that ball right there. That's a secure, and then she hands it off, souvenir piece.
Broken back ground ball back to the mound. Got to hurry at second. On to first. They get them both. Well done by the Cubs on the infield as Hendricks starts the inning-ending double play.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Garden weeds are scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can banish them without harming plants nearby. So draw the line. Give the stick one click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel.
Finally. Ron! They're finally taking down that Schwab billboard.
Oh, not so fast, Carl.
Oh no, Schwab again. Index investing for that low? That's 3 times less than Fidelity.
And 4 times less than Vanguard.
What next? No minimums?
No minimums.
Schwab has lowered the cost of investing again, introducing the lowest cost index funds in the industry with no minimums.
I bet they're calling about the Schwab news.
Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
Hey.
Kevin Harvick. Changing your oil after 3,000 miles? Yes. If you'd used new Mobil 1 annual protection, you wouldn't have to. You protect your engine for 1 year with just 1 oil change. That's amazing. It is amazing. Can I ask you a question? Why are you 3 inches tall? Why aren't you 3 inches tall?
Don't change your oil. New Mobil 1 annual protection.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. We go to the top of the third. The Red Sox leading the Cubs 2-0 on a first-inning home run by Hanley Ramirez, and it's the heart of the order coming up here for the Cubs. Bryant, Rizzo, and Zobrist. Chris Bryant grounded out his first time up. Shift on again. A special moment for Bryant on Friday night. Came to Fenway Park and in his first at bat hit a home run over the monster onto Lansdowne. Why is it special? Well, got to be a pretty cool moment as a ball player for anybody to do that in this ballpark. But back in the day, his dad was a farmhand for the Red Sox, was a Red Sox minor leaguer, and his dad proposed to his mom outside the ballpark behind the Green Monster. Mike Bryant, who spent a couple of years in the Red Sox organization, and Chris obviously knew the story, and hit a home run basically to the spot where dad proposed to mom. One ball, 2 strikes, the count on Bryant.
Gave a salute to mom and dad as he crossed home plate. You know, that was a meaningful moment for the Bryant family. And I mean, it just keeps getting better and better for Chris Bryant. Here's a look at that home run on Friday night. Pomeranz tried to sneak that high fastball by him, and he rode it out of here, a no-doubter out onto Lansdowne Street. And there you see, acknowledging his family. A big moment for him in what's been an unbelievable start to his career.
Rodriguez gets him. Second strikeout of the night for the left-hander, and here comes Anthony Rizzo, who worked Rodriguez for a walk back in the first.
It's almost like Rodriguez didn't want any part of him if it wasn't away. Every pitch that was thrown was practically off the plate, and as it's always talked about with Anthony Rizzo as he crowds the plate, but I don't think I've ever seen his back foot so borderline out of the box. I mean, look at where his toe is. You can't get more crowded as far as that backside and being in the back of the box on both ways. Back, that far back line, and then the cross. But you see where his toe is. If that line was still there, it'd be pretty close.
Well, and Eduardo Rodriguez has not thrown him a strike yet, so it's a distraction, and that's where you got to be able to command it. If you're going to have success against a Rizzo, you've got to be able to show you can command that inside corner to him, because anything away is essentially down the middle, and even off the plate away is a pitch that he has great coverage on because he's daring you to come in there.
when you can kind of tell where he's looking. And you think about, as a hitter, your last at bat, okay, I saw away to a walk. So I'm crowding and I'm looking. I'm looking for him to make a mistake, meaning it might still be black away, but I'm crowding so much that's almost middle away. And that's why he's spitting on anything inside. He doesn't want to swing at that. Or at least he didn't with no strikes. And he's looking for something away.
Got one away, outer part of the zone, but he takes it for a strike, 2-2.
And look at, changed a little bit his foot in the box there, and now with 2 strikes, he's really choking up, something we see him do from time to time. And there's a well-located fastball on the corner, but the good thing for Rizzo, he's able to spoil that pitch. So the more he can spoil the pitch that Rodriguez wants to make, the more potential at a mistake at some point, even with 2 strikes. But that's what choking up helps him to do. He can fight off the tough pitch to handle for him in this 2-strike situation.
Chased a ball in the dirt, back-to-back strikeouts for Rodriguez.
Well, Ben Zobrist, his last at bat, hit a double off the monster, and we talked about his hands, but really take a look at that back forearm and look at how it almost stays to his belly button, how close his hands are to his body. That is something so hard to do, but we saw it from Andrew Benintendi, and this is why these hitters find success. When you can wait this long to hit a baseball and still have power. A lot of times when you see guys with power, it's because they get the ball out front. But if you have the ability to be able to fight something off and still hit it as far as both of them did in their at-bats, it's a rare similarity.
Zobrist doubling off the monster down the left field line in his first at bat, hit a home run over the monster in the 9th inning of yesterday's game, adding a little insurance for the Cubs as Rodriguez bounces one in, now 3-0. The World Series MVP a year ago, Ben Zobrist. Strike over the inside edge, 3-1. Rodriguez battling back, full count. He struck out Bryant. He struck out Rizzo as they look on for the dugout, trying to put away Zobrist here and end the inning. Tuesday at 7 and again at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have the final 2 episodes of We the Fans, our 8-part close-up and ultra-personal look into the lives of Chicago Bears season ticket holders in Section 250 at Soldier Field. Our cameras there for the heartbreaking losses, family reunions, you name it, you'll see it for Bears lifers. Ooh, Rodriguez may have gotten the benefit of the doubt on that one. He gets Zobrist, and he strikes out the side. 2-0 Red Sox going to the bottom of the 3rd. When we come back, Jess Mendoza up close and personal with Addison Russell.
In 5 days,
hang on,
see the film critics call Marvel Studios at its best.
Now, listen to them explain why in more detail.
Go! Rolling Stone calls it a wild summer ride. It's laugh out loud funny, epic, thrilling. It's out of this world.
Good. Wait, it's out of what?
It's metaphorical! Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, rated PG-13, everywhere Friday.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes?
Of course I do.
Get up to $100 back on a 2-axle brake service with your Midas credit card. Now at Midas.
The #1 rated Ego Power Plus mower features Ego's Arc Lithium battery technology. It delivers the cutting torque of gas, and the self-propelled model makes mowing effortless. The Ego Power Plus mower, exclusively at the Home Depot and Ego authorized dealers.
I think because of this narrative that's surrounded him about Russ being a real G, staying there, toughing it out, staying in Oklahoma City, like there is something to that, especially for basketball purists.
Red Sox up 2-0 earlier today. Just caught up with Addison Russell. Unlimited access brought to you by T-Mobile.
Addison, you got a ton of skills on the field, but your teammates credit you for your dance moves. You got the best. You got David Ross, who credits you, and he knows some dancing. Yeah. What do you enjoy so much about kind of some of the off-the-field stuff you do, especially your dance moves?
Just freely expressing myself, having fun, kind of putting yourself out there on a limb, looking kind of crazy, and if you could flow and move like that, I guess you look good, So I have fun with it. I enjoy it.
And you teach any of your teammates, or you work with them as well?
I've taught a few teammates how to do the moonwalk, or tried to, they want to learn some other stuff, but I'm willing to, give them my knowledge.
Well, one of the things, too, you're older brother, you got 3 younger siblings, and I know you even said growing up, you always knew that you'd be a young dad. Here's a photo with you, their siblings, you as a dad, 21 years old. What's it like being a pop, and how you knew even at a young age you would be?
It's all kind of overwhelming at first, but it's something that I strive to do whenever, I was a little kid. I always challenged myself to be the best me that I could be. And I think being a father definitely has challenged me the most. The fact that I get to care for a child and nurture a child and take on that father role has been so much fun. And I get to play with my little girl. I get to play with my little boys. So it makes everything lighthearted, and I enjoy it.
Well, one thing you definitely enjoy is hitting. And you think about a lot of the names on this team, and they get a lot of credit, a lot of big hitters, but you've been raking for a long time.
Yeah.
What are some of the things, even as we look at you from a young age, even the big Grand Slam you had, second youngest in history, how have you grown as a hitter?
Just adjustments, just like a game of adjustments. Going up through the minors, always bat at the top of the lineup. And then coming here in, the big leagues, batting in the bottom of the lineup, getting moved around the infield, and then establishing myself in the middle of the lineup. It's truly a game of adjustments, but I just get back to my skill set and my confidence, and things handle themselves.
All right, well, your Pokemon collection. Can we get into that a little bit? You brought your book.
Yeah, I got my binder over here.
You just had some of the Red Sox this weekend sign some of your cards. I mean, I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. This is a really big deal. You've had Andrew McCutchen sign cards. You associate them with the Pokemon character. So this is the Steelix EX with McCutchen, and you've got Hanley Ramirez and some of the Sox players. So why McCutchen and the Steelix?
It's just the type of person that I see him. He's a strong individual. I feel like he's kind of like the core of the team, of course, the face of the franchise, a baller for one, and then you also go by the hit points. The more hit points, the better.
Points. All right. Yeah. What about with the Sox guys? Who's been the top one?
Well, I got Mookie, Talonflame. This is, I'd say, probably like my 4th favorite card. I got Xander Bogaerts to sign this one. It's my Charizard.
So you're a Xander fan.
Yeah, a big shortstop fan anyways, but yeah, he's good.
Awesome. And Dustin gets the little guy that turns out to be 6 feet.
Yeah.
Addison, thank you. I appreciate it. Pretty crazy collection. When I met, it's a young, kid thing, but he did, to his credit, say that he did it to be able to relate to his niece and nephew. That's why he's got the Pokemon collection. And when I mentioned him being the 2nd youngest to hit a Grand Slam at the World Series behind Mickey Mantle, but I don't love the kid photos when they're young, playing young.
Some told me he could have talked Pokemon with you for about an hour.
He wanted to. I had to cut him off. Our producer, Andy Reichwald's like, all right, we gotta cut this.
Boone, if you were still playing and clubhouse guy brought in a Charizard or whatever, I'm not up on my Pokemon, brought in a Charizard and said, hey, Addison Russell sent this across. He wants you to sign his Pokemon card. Like, would you have looked for like the hidden camera, thinking you're getting goofed on or something? Or
I think I would have, yeah.
But if it's worth 180 charge points,
yeah,
I mean
that's big time.
He thinks a lot of you.
So when I was in Cincinnati, Dimitri Young lockered next to me, and he was a big baseball card collector, so he had great old cards. So he got me into it one year where I'm buying these expensive cards and we're comparing. He's explaining it all to me, and that took me back a little bit.
It's cool.
Were you buying cards as an investment or just because guys you like current players or old cards?
It was a little of everything.
A little of everything?
Yeah, it was a couple months.
Liner to the second baseman, on to first. That'll be a double play. Benintendi hit it right on the screws, but he hit it right at Zobrist. And on to first for the double play. That will end the inning. End of 3 at Fenway. Red Sox up 2-0.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
How do you become America's best-selling brand?
You're not going to make it.
Do you think you can make it?
Make it every time.
Nice.
Going further to keep drivers moving freely. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand.
Do you always put cheese and grooves in your sandwich?
Of course. They're chips. Chips plus sandwich equals the perfect lunch.
Oh, don't forget the pickle. It's kind of a big deal.
Cheese It Grooves. Chips made with 100% real cheese. Dang right it's a chip.
Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
2-0 Red Sox lead the Cubs as we go to the top of the 4th here at Fenway Park. Moments ago, Buster Olney visited with Cubs manager Joe Madden.
Joe, Kyle Hendricks has been trying to make some adjustments with his delivery the last couple of weeks. What are you seeing in that?
It's getting better. I mean, I'm seeing 85s, a lot of 85s, a couple 86s today. Normally when he's pitching really well, it's 86, 87. And then there's a greater disparity between the fastball and the changeup. That's like 85. He missed a spot on. Ramirez hit that ball pretty good.
You've been talking about the atmosphere here in Fenway Park this weekend. What have you liked about it?
I'd like to play the last 7 games of this baseball season between here and Wrigley. It's fantastic. We've had a great time. We've been for 3 days. But it's kind of like this friendly rivalry that's going on. Both fan bases are outstanding. The tradition of both ball clubs. It's really good for baseball.
Joe, thanks.
There's no question it's really good for baseball. I think we'll feel a lot of the same things next week. We'll have the Yankees at Wrigley taking on the Cubs, but I think Joe used a perfect phrase. It's like a friendly rivalry because they play in different leagues. This is obviously the only time they'll see each other in the regular season this year, but between the players, between the fans, between executives on both sides, it really has a different kind of a feel to it. As great as the games have been and as great as the atmosphere was in the 9th inning Friday night, it's not like they want to beat each other's brains out. There's a real mutual respect.
It's been very festive,
yeah.
and you know this is something that both fan bases have circled on their calendars. As soon as this schedule came out, the opportunity to see the Cubs in another historic ballpark playing in a historic team like the Red Sox. It's been a neat weekend here in Boston.
It doesn't happen very often. It was 3 years ago that it did, and a lot of these players weren't on that team. I mean, Anthony Rizzo setting up a duck tour, Kyle Schwarber touring through the Green Monster. I mean, these guys really take it in, and especially the respect they have for each other.
Well, then you have the guys like Lester and Lackey and Uehara, all guys that played here coming back home.
Rodriguez strikes out Russell. That's 4 strikeouts in a row for Rodriguez. John Lackey a big part of the Red Sox in 2013. John Lester, of course, as well. Koji Uehara, the three guys that you mentioned. John Lester brought the lineup card out on Friday night to the umpires meeting at home plate. Got a big ovation from the crowd here at Fenway.
And you think about Theo Epstein and obviously his connections, but even, you know, we talked about Chris Bryant, his dad, playing in the Red Sox organization. And these teams are connected in a variety of ways.
So Joe Madden says he'd love for the last 7 games of the season to be between these two teams. And you wonder, I mean, so many crazy things happen in baseball. It's so hard to predict who's going to wind up as the last two teams. But you look at the young talent the Red Sox have, and you look at the young talent that the Cubs have. And not saying this can be Warriors, Cavs, or Lakers, Celtics, or anything like that, because, again, that's harder in baseball. It just doesn't work that way. But these two teams both look really positioned with their talent base, their organizational strength, their financial resources. Like, nobody would be surprised if these two teams met in the World Series once or twice in the next few years, would they?
Absolutely not. I mean, all for the reasons you just said. You know, I would say on paper right now, it looks like the Cubs are set up better long term. But, I mean, as we scan around the outfield and look at those star players for the Red Sox, these are two organizations that, yeah, each and every year we're going to be talking about as a team potentially headed to a World Series.
I'd say they probably got the most votes when you talk about all the predictions. I would say that these are the two teams out of each league.
Yeah, maybe, although maybe the Indians this year.
Repeating in baseball is such a difficult thing to do. Last National League team to repeat as World Series champions, the Big Red Machine in the mid-70s. Last team in either league was the Yankees, who did it 3 years in a row, 98, 99. And 2000. The Cubs have so much back from last year, but so much can be different from year to year. And the Red Sox with the acquisition of Chris Sale. As Hayward strikes out. That is 5 consecutive strikeouts now for Eduardo Rodriguez.
Well, it looks like another fastball, this time on the inside corner. You see Vasquez jump in there, and he just, it almost has a little cut action as he brings it back to the inside corner. Great job of holding that pitch and presenting it to the umpire by Vasquez, and no argument from Hayward as Rodriguez is locked into a good place right now.
5 straight, and last inning utilizing more of his breaking ball and his changeup. But as you alluded to early, Boone, really getting in with the fastball to be able to set up that second time.
Yeah, I mean, when you establish your fastball, as good a fastball as Rodriguez has, and he's so good when he's commanding his fastball, he works 2 seamers down in the strike zone, but then he has such an ability to elevate at the top of the zone and command it up there that then all of a sudden it starts to set up his slider and his changeup the second time through if his fastball is commanded. And that's why I think he's a real X factor, because his talent is great.
They know what they've got in Chris Sale. Obviously, they've got the reigning Cy Young Award winner in Rick Porcello. They're hoping to get David Price back soon. He threw a 2-inning simulated game yesterday. They're hoping he will throw a 3-inning simulated game Thursday, maybe step it up from there. But best case scenario still feels like he's probably a month away. And it's a lot of ifs here, but Sale, Porcello, if Price comes back with Eduardo Rodriguez. Right now, Stephen Wright is struggling, hasn't been the same since the shoulder injury pinch running last year. Drew Pomeranz had a good game. I mean, they could have 4 lefties in the rotation when you think about it, plus Porcello. But Rodriguez is a guy, the talent is there, the potential is there, but if he can develop some consistency, that's a potential game changer
how much
for the Red Sox.
they feed and talk to each other. I mean, think about it. You got top-end, high quality pitchers that are communicating and learning. In fact, Eduardo Rodriguez started throwing a 2-seam front door that he learned from Porcello early in the season. And especially a lot of the lefties and what they can do and how they can kind of pick each other's brains. We take a look at David Price, and we were here for yesterday watching his simulated start against hitters and how intense he was. His reactions. I think he only gave up the 1 hit to Chris Young, who does pretty well against lefties.
I think what shows you the intensity, he threw on his white jersey. There's no BP top going for that simulated game. It's, let me throw the game uni on. It's time.
Obviously one of the best pitchers in the sport over the last decade or so. So they're hoping he'll throw roughly 45 pitches, a 3-inning simulated game Thursday. Take it up another level the following Tuesday, working on a 5-day cycle right now, just as if he were healthy in the rotation. And after that, if there are no setbacks, maybe send him out to start making some minor league starts, some rehab starts. But boy, you hear sore elbow, and you just never know what you're going to get when a guy goes out there and gets into game situations and takes it up a notch. Almora will line one into right field. That's a base hit. Contreras is around second, heading for third, in there in a head first slide, and at second base, just safe ahead of the tag, is Almora.
Well, a lot of things on display here. First of all, you get a look at the athleticism of the Cubs, and you talk about their catcher, Wilson Contreras, that even with 2 outs, he realizes, hey, the ball's not hit that hard, even though it's Mookie Betts out there in right field. I'm going on contact, and I have the speed to get to third base. And then Almora does a great job of just kind of slowing his momentum, slowing down a little bit around first, but keeping his momentum alive so that if he reads this throw going over the cutoff man's head, he does, and then he kicks it into high gear, and he beats that throw to second base to get another runner into scoring position. That is great base running by Almora Jr. and Wilson Contreras ahead of him.
Now base hit, could score 2. After 5 straight strikeouts for Rodriguez, a walk to Contreras, and Almora singles and takes second on the throw. And here's John Jay, who had a base hit his first time up. Cubs have not done a good job in this series, hitting with runners in scoring position. Just 3 for 22 in this series. Jay with a base hit his first time up, raises his average over 500 now. 15 for 37, a 4.05 on the season. Part-time player. Fought one off, took it the other way his first time up.
That's back-to-back changeups down in the strike zone and on the inner half by design. You've got to be very careful when John Jay is swinging the bat as well as he is right now, and so adept at going the other way. You really got to be careful out over the plate, even if you elevate or lower the ball, because he's so short to the ball. I think they continue to crowd him on the inner half with fastballs or keep something off speed down and out of the zone. Good job by Vasquez. We talked about his reputation as an outstanding defender. Just a textbook job of lowering his body as that ball bounces out in front of home plate and actually stays down. It doesn't skip up to the chest protector, but he's in position to just kind of deaden that ball back there. No chance.
Second and third, 2 down.
And you saw Vasquez right there, kind of frustrated. It's a great job of spoiling that pitch by John Jay because it was perfect execution by Rodriguez. They came back with the fastball after a steady diet of changeups and really crowded him inside. But Jay's able to spoil what was a perfect pitcher's pitch.
How comfortable he is just swinging that late.
Yep.
No interest in hitting it, just wasting it.
Now he chases in the dirt. Vasquez out from behind the plate. And the inning is over. 7 strikeouts now for Eduardo Rodriguez as the Cubs leave a couple of men on in scoring position.
didn't actually have horns on their helmets.
Ostriches don't really stick their heads in the sand.
Peanut is not a nut.
And a real John Deere is actually real affordable.
You learn something new every day. The surprisingly affordable John Deere E-Series tractors. Now you can own America's tractor for just $99 a month. Learn more at your John Deere dealer.
This is Brooks Yard, with cute kids, an adorable dog, and ugly bare spots. Bare spots that are hard to fix using seed alone. But Scott's Easy Seed changes everything. It's an all-in-one solution. Our finest grass seed, plus quick start fertilizer and natural super absorbent mulch. Grow grass anywhere. The very first time, guaranteed. Bare spots be gone. This is a Scott's Yard.
Really?
Oh, relax, babe. I've got T-Mobile. It's all unlimited, so I've got unlimited access to all things MLB.
Are you sure that means all things?
Yeah, totally. Oh. Good morning, Bryce. Dude, what time is it? Funny filter time. Say something funny. I'm not that funny. Yeah, still kind of funny. Thanks. I got unlimited data, so we can just keep going if we want.
That's how he wakes up. I know.
Like perfectly coiffed.
T-Mobile One. Stream, post, and share all things MLB on the most advanced LTE network. Unlimited data means unlimited baseball.
This is a disgrace, and somebody needs to do something about Phil Jackson right now. Get him the hell out of New York.
The debate starts here. First Take, weekdays at 10 on ESPN.
I'm so damn disgusted.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is brought to you by Taco Bell. Fenway Park in Boston. Dan Shulman, Jessica Mendoza, Aaron Boone, Buster Olney, and moments ago, Hanley Ramirez making a young fan's day. He's on TV.
Hanley was kissing babies the other night on his home run. Well,
I tell you, if he hits one out here, he should give that kid his batting gloves.
That's right.
Come on. Really make his day.
Better than a Pokemon sign card?
There he is.
Life's pretty good right now, eh, kiddo? Good seats, too.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts leads off the fourth.
We're continuing to see, Dan, that velocity, 84, 85 miles an hour with that fastball. And Joe Madden touched on it, and again, it makes the spread between the fastball and the changeup not as great. So we've seen some changeups in this game that last year we would see usually guys go after, weak contact or miss. They're able to lay off it because they don't fear the fastball quite as much.
85 and outside for ball four. That'll bring up Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley Ramirez, his last at bat. Anytime you take an 84-mile-per-hour fastball and you reverse it to 112 with that exit velocity, just shows the power. You look at that launch angle of 24 degrees to get under it. Enough. It was pretty much a line drive straight out of here, but you think about the power that he brings to this lineup, what he has to do with his swing. Pretty fun to watch.
469 feet yesterday, and tonight's was no cheapie at 440. Aaron, you talked about it last year in a game we did.
Undressed.
Yeah. You played with him.
Yes.
For a year. Marlins, right?
Yes.
And I mean, one of the most talented guys you've ever played with?
Absolutely. Getting a chance to play with him and Miguel Cabrera that year, as you know, both as young players still at that time. Hanley's year in 2007 with the Marlins. You know, back when he was stealing a ton of bases and hitting for the power. Yeah, as special a hitter as I've seen. I mean, it's that lightning bat speed, and we've seen stretches in his career where he is as deadly as anyone in the box.
So that was when he was 23 years old. It was his second year in the big leagues. He hit .332, 48 doubles, 29 homers, and stole 51 bases.
I mean, honestly.
Is that good? And you had Miggy on that team?
Yeah.
So you were hitting cleanup?
Only different. Remember, he originally started in the Red Sox organization. Actually got a couple of at-bats with them in 2005. Won Rookie of the Year with the Marlins in 06. The year Aaron was talking about in 07. Had another fantastic year in 08. Won the batting title in 09. I mean, just big-time numbers. Went to the Dodgers. And then now with the Red Sox the last 3 years. 30 home runs and 111 driven in last year. And again, we talked about the absence of David Ortiz, and it is a factor. I mean, Ortiz had a remarkable year last year, but whether it's Betts or Ramirez, you know, somebody somewhere in all good lineups, there's the guy, that anchor of a guy hitting third or hitting fourth, usually a guy with a lot of power. You know, Betts had a phenomenal year last year. Ramirez had a very good year last year. Can they do that again? Will it be harder for them to do that without the presence of David Ortiz in the lineup?
It's always going to be hard without a guy like David Ortiz. But this lineup has so many guys, and I agree you need that one feared hitter, but there's just so much talent in this lineup throughout. And then you have the young kid in Andrew Benintendi, which I believe he's going to be a 20+ home run player. Maybe not this season, but he's built for power. Don't let his size fool you.
You guys, even if David Ortiz had come back this year, he probably wasn't going to be the same, because what he did last year was unprecedented for a player his age. He was like one of the 3 best offensive players in baseball.
Red Sox right now 12-11 on the season, last in the major leagues in home runs, but as we mentioned earlier, they're starting to hit more of them. The one by Ramirez was the 7th in their last 6 games, as now he is called out on strikes, much to his dismay.
And these are the pitches of Kyle Hendricks when he was the ERA leader last season. You see what he does with this 2-seam fastball. It's away, 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 and just runs right back over the plate. And these are the looks. And even Joe Madden said this is what he looks for when he knows that Kyle Hendricks is doing well. It's the takes, he said. There's going to be swing and misses. That's what you look for with guys with a ton of stuff. But for Hendricks, it's the deception of what he just showed there.
So 1 on, 1 out, and the shift on for the Cubs with Mitch Moreland at the plate. Moreland called out on strikes his first time up. Aaron, did you like hitting off guys like this? You know, mid to high 80s finesse guys, good changeups?
Well, when I watch Hendricks, no. He looks like a guy I would not want to face, because and basing it on what we saw from him last year, and we got to see so many of his outings, all of his postseason outings, a lot of his second half outings, and he, to me, looked like a guy that's very difficult to square up, because he gets so much movement on all his pitches, and the command was elite. So, you know, a lot of times a guy who can work the bottom of the zone with a sinker. What Hendricks does really well is, primarily with a fastball and a changeup, he gets about 6 different pitches out of it, because he can sink the ball to both sides of the plate and down in the zone. He can cut it to both sides of the plate with both his fastball and his changeup. But he'll work the top of the strike zone as well with a 4-seam fastball, more than you might think. So even though he doesn't throw a lot of breaking balls, he gets so many different looks and commands so many different parts of the strike zone that it gives you a lot to cover as a hitter, then coupled with the late movement that made him the ERA champion last year. He just misses your barrel.
So not a fun at bat, if you're a righty especially.
And another strikeout as he takes care of Moreland for the 2nd time tonight.
See Contreras set up down and away, and look at the bottom just fall right out of this changeup. This is what he was so good at a year ago. That is just perfectly placed. That starts out in the strike zone. A pitch a hitter thinks he needs to cover, but he gets so much good downward action on that pitch, it disappears down and away. No chance for Moreland, and a big 2nd out.
Here's Dustin Pedroia as Betts draws the throw. Betts can steal a base, of course. Pedroia had a base hit his first time up tonight and is now 6 for 8 in the series.
This with 2 outs. This is a time with Pedroia at the plate where if you're Betts, I think you want to push the envelope and try and get yourself in a scoring position. Worst case scenario, you've got Pedroia leading off next inning, but you give him a chance with, you know, Pedroia's only got 1 extra base hit on the season. I'd rather be on second base for him to give him a chance to drive you in with the base hit.
Upstairs, a ball and a strike.
Hendricks not real quick to home plate. Obviously Contreras throws excellent, but what Hendricks does pretty well is it's a decent move to first base, but he does a good job of varying his time, his holds, how long he holds the ball. So he's working even though he doesn't go overly quick to home plate once he does.
Pedroia loops one back of second, and the shortstop Russell is there to make the play and end the inning. We're at the end of 4 now at Fenway, and it's still 2-0 Red Sox.
It's back. And it's front. No, really. The Triple Double Crunch Wrap Big Box is back. And it's still all mains, no sides with the Doritos Locos Taco, a Crunchy Taco, and a Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Just $5, only at Taco Bell. If you have a garden, you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can finally banish garden weeds without harming precious plants nearby. So draw the line. Just give the stick 1 click. Touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root with pinpoint precision. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel. And be sure to check out Roundup with Sure Shot Wand, another good for the garden product from Roundup.
I joined the Army in July of '98. I did active duty 11 years and 2 in the reserves.
Our 18-year-old was in an accident. When I call USA, it was that voice asking me, is your daughter okay? That's where I felt relief.
It actually helped to know that somebody else cared and wanted to make sure that I was okay. That was really great.
We're the Rivera family, and we'll be with USAA for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Call today to talk about your insurance needs.
Let's just say it's been a big year for the Brizzle Souvenir Company.
And you can't run a successful business without a jingle.
All right, I'm nervous, but I got something. Long gone home run, this one's gonna go. Kiss it goodbye, that ball was Brizzle!
Yes! Yes!
But you like it, you really like it?
Yeah.
You really like it?
I love it. Anything.
Love you.
Yes, this is gonna take us over the top.
That ball was Brizzle!
Red Sox 2, Cubs nothing. We go to the top of the 5th at Fenway Park. Moments ago, Buster Olney with Boston manager John Farrell.
John, we just saw you talking to Mookie Betts. How's he doing?
Oh, just checking in with him, as we do with many guys after they come in off the bases. But no, he's fine.
Okay. What have you seen in Eduardo Rodriguez tonight?
You know, a good assortment of pitches. The second time through the order, changeup has become more of a factor and a put-away pitch for him. But still, the fastball location has been pretty solid throughout.
How about Hanley Ramirez tonight?
Well, you know, we talked about it before the game. It looks like, you know, where his hard contact was on the line or on the ground the first 3-4 weeks of the season, starting to get a little bit more lift. And last couple of days has kind of showed up with the result.
John, thanks.
Definitely starting to get a little more lift and hit both home runs right on the screws yesterday and again here tonight. Both were absolute rockets. Top of the order for the Cubs. Schwarber, Bryant, Rizzo. Here in the 5th inning, Schwarber a couple of ground outs. Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for the Red Sox. He has 7 strikeouts through 4. And 7 of his last 8 outs have been via the strikeout. He got both Bryant and Rizzo the last time that he faced them.
He's gotten similar results from Kyle Schwarber, similar to that last foul ground ball. He's rolled over 2 ground balls to the right side for outs.
Not a lot of success at all for Schwarber once he gets into a 2-strike count. And those numbers will persist here as he strikes out, number 8 on the night for Rodriguez. Scott's MLB Pitch Hit and Run is the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. It's free for boys and girls ages 7 to 14. Play your way to the national finals and have the chance to compete during All-Star Week in Miami. Find a local competition in your area at pitchhitrun.com. Maybe that guy will wind up in it, that young man on the left. Rodriguez now with 8 strikeouts, and those have come against 8 different Cub hitters. He's gotten everybody tonight except for Wilson Contreras. You got Chris Bryant swinging his last time up. And there's Mom and Dad. We talked about them a little bit earlier. Dad Mike, a former Red Sox farmhand back in the early 80s. And a guy who at the time, Ted Williams, was a hitting instructor in the Red Sox organization. As Bryant does just what Dad wants him to do, he got it up in the air. And look at Dad. Look how happy Mom and Dad are as Bryant hits one out to deep left center field, his second home run here in the series.
Well, guys, the way Rodriguez was able to get Bryant out in his last at bat was by challenging him down in the strike zone with the fastball and then working in the changeup. They want to go down and away again with the fastball, and right away Rodriguez knows he's made a mistake. Bryant, an outstanding high fastball hitter. This ball leaks over the heart, and he knows that swing right away. Even in this cold night, he's going to ride that sucker out of here. Another home run for Chris Bryant.
That's a proud Mom and Dad right there.
And cold.
Yeah.
You can tell they're from Vegas.
That'll warm you up a little bit.
Well, we started to say, you know, Ted Williams as a hitting instructor, he was never about hit the ball the other way. He was never about hit a hard on the ground, get the ball in the air.
Yep.
And Ted Williams, in a sense, not only arguably being the greatest hitter of all time, but was ahead of his time in terms of his philosophy on hitting as Rizzo grounds out. And that's what he taught Mike Bryant when Bryant was a farmhand in the Red Sox organization, and that's what Mike Bryant taught Chris Bryant. And that Chris has a pronounced uppercut. Everybody sees it, everybody talks about it, but boy, you can't argue with the results.
And what's unique about his uppercut is the fact, as Boone mentioned, is he does so well with the fastball up in the zone, which just shows you how much he can cover. Because normally it's split in half, meaning you can hit the lower half very, very well, but anything up belt high or above, you're going to struggle. And Chris Bryant, that's his cookie zone. Anything above the belt is what he likes to drive out of the park.
Zobrist bounces one foul.
So much talk about launch angle and getting underneath the baseball, and Chris Bryant is one of the poster childs when you see the bat path that he takes from where he starts, barrel on his shoulder, dropping down below the ball, but stays through it in a nice way, and still able to cover a variety of different pitches with power with that launch angle.
A little bit outside, a ball and a strike on Zobrist. That is the 4th home run of the season for Bryant. His 2nd here in the series. He's got the Cubs on the board. Now trailing 2-1 top of the 5th in the rubber match of this 3-game series.
And now an 11-game hitting streak.
With 8 extra base hits in those 11 games.
This is what I like about the Cubs lineup, is when you get a guy like Ben Zobrist that backs up Chris Bryant. And we just spoke about his launch angle and his bat path, but then you get a guy like Zobrist. This is almost the opposite. More of a contact guy, very level swing.
High fly ball right field. Room for Betts to end the inning. But the Cubs on the board. Chris Bryant with another home run, high and deep to left center field. Gave it a ride and gave Mom and Dad a thrill.
With flights getting so expensive, how do you find great deals anymore? Well, Priceline found a way with Express Deal Flights. We partner with top airlines to fill their unsold seats, saving you up to 40%. Just tap and go. Hey, Vegas. You know, I saw this wild show in Vegas with my friend Diana. There were like acrobats and people on wires that... Oh, am I boring you? Hello? Flights up to 40% off. Check them out now at Priceline.
Advanced technology, durability, adorability, and baby softness. Maybe not. It takes a lot to save a galaxy, but most of all it takes, confidence. That's why there's Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. It's the smart way to stay fresh enough to take on the whole stinking universe. Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, in theaters May 5th.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday on ESPN.
Say, Carl, we have a question about your brokerage fees.
Fees?
What do you have in mind?
I don't know, $4.95 per trade?
And I was wondering if your brokerage offers some sort of guarantee. Guarantee?
Where we can get our fees and commissions back if we're not happy.
So can you offer me what Schwab is offering?
What's with all the questions?
Ask your broker if they're offering $4.95 online equity trades and a satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like their answer, ask again at Schwab.
Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
Back at Fenway, where the Red Sox lead is now 2-1 over the Cubs after the home run by Chris Bryant. We go to the bottom of the fifth and the bottom third of the order for Boston, beginning with center fielder Jackie Bradley Jr. Makes a strike at the knees from Kyle Hendricks. Bryant, the reigning National League MVP, and off to a good start. Now an 11-game hitting streak. Cubs the leaders in the Central, 13-10. As you can see, the Red Sox at 12-11. Little jam shot for Bradley, in on the grass. Bryant for out number one. Well, a lot going on around baseball. Let's go a little bit big picture here, and some of the big stories in the month of April. Hard to believe we're at the end of April, considering it feels like end of February right now here in Boston. How about Ryan Zimmerman coming off a down year, some injuries last year, an extraordinary April. Aaron Judge making a lot of contact, and when he does, man, it goes a long way. And Eric Thames, who spent the last 3 years playing professionally in Korea. These three guys had 3 of the best months of anybody in baseball. You expect names like Bryant and Harper and Trout and so forth, but how about Zimmerman, Judge, and Thames having huge Aprils?
Well, Thames is the biggest surprise just because he was more of the unknown. He wasn't even a name that you were bringing up at any point. And I mean, Aaron Judge was talked about just because of his size. So the fact he has 10 home runs, of course, is a surprise, but you knew he had the power. And Ryan Zimmerman, I mean, you just think about that Nationals lineup and him being as hot as he is. If he can carry that through with the other guys they have in that lineup. Whew.
Although that lineup got thinner this week, a very unfortunate injury. Adam Eaton suffering a torn ACL among other injuries to his left leg. Very unlikely to play at any point, regular season or postseason, if the Nationals get that far. A big loss for Washington.
Yeah, and he was off to such a great start and such a great fit with that club. Obviously the value he brings defensively in the outfield, but just as a left-handed hitter, just how balanced their attack has been this first month of the season. Right, left, throughout that lineup. He brings some athleticism to that team. So that's a big loss. But the health of Zimmerman, that offense has a chance to be really special this year.
Well, and if Anthony Rendon can keep up today's pace.
Which I'm sure.
Yeah, he had a month in a day. If you haven't heard, Anthony Rendon had really one of the 3 or 4 biggest days that a major leaguer has ever had. He went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Nobody's ever done all of that in the same game before.
Well, and the best part, it's the last day of the month. So I look at it, you know, as a player just going, he's about to have a 220, 0 homer, 6 RBI opening month, off to a tough start.
Yep.
look up tomorrow. 280, 3 homers, 16 RBIs.
Right where he wants to be.
Wow, having a good April there, huh?
Yeah.
But what's crazy is you think about, I mean, even Matt Wieters had an awesome day with a couple home runs as well. And oh, by the way, there's Bryce Harper and Daniel Murphy. Just
right. The score, by the way, of that game was 23-5 for Washington. For on the flip side of the coin, the Mets. Noah Syndergaard gave up 5 in the first, and then after throwing a pitch in the second inning, walked off the mound in discomfort. The Mets say he's going to get an MRI tomorrow morning. They suspect it's a lat strain. Don't know if it's related to the biceps tendonitis that was discussed last week, but just another difficult situation for the Mets to deal with. They've had so many physical issues.
It's been a nightmare couple of weeks for the Mets, and what complicates this issue is that apparently the Mets wanted Syndergaard when he missed his last start or got it pushed back. They wanted him to go to take an MRI, and he refused it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do it, and then he goes out there, has the outing he does today, and to see him grab the lat, and it looked like a painful situation. Very discouraging for the Mets and all that they're going through right now from an injury standpoint, because you know, he maybe along with Cespedes, no 2 more important guys to their club.
Absolutely. So what looked like it, you know, might be a 2-team race between the Nationals and the Mets. The Nationals right now off to a great start. The Mets, with all of their injuries, they're really just trying to hang in and get healthy at some point. MRI tomorrow, probably know the results shortly after that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count on Marco Hernandez. 2 down and the base is empty. And a little bit inside, says Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A couple of other game notes from today. Dallas Keuchel got another win today. He is 5-0, and he's looking like 2015 Dallas Keuchel, who, by the way, went home with the Cy Young Award.
And he was one of the biggest questions, I think, coming into the season.
Yeah.
He's coming back from an injury. What is Dallas Keuchel going to be? Because I think everyone acknowledges just how deep and talented the Astros roster is, but they needed their ace at the top to come out like this, and he certainly has.
Hernandez with a bouncer to Rizzo. Hendricks covering, and that's the inning as the Red Sox go in order. End of 5, Red Sox 2, Cubs 1. We'll get to know Andrew Benintendi a little bit better when we come back to Fenway Park.
The #1 rated Ego Power Plus string trimmer outperforms gas. Featuring a high-efficiency brushless motor, it runs up to 45 minutes on a single charge. The Ego Power Plus string trimmer, exclusively at the Home Depot and Ego authorized dealers.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes?
Of course I do.
One of the best things about driving is being able to stop. Get up to $100 back on a 2-axle brake service with your Midas credit card. For brakes, tires, oil, everything. Trust the Midas touch.
Garden weeds are scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can banish them without harming plants nearby. So draw the line. Give the stick 1 click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel.
Sunday Night Baseball from Fenway Park in Boston. The Red Sox lead the Cubs 2-1 going top 6. Time now to get to know Andrew Benintendi a little bit better, and to help us do that, here's Buster.
Andrew Benintendi attended Madeira High School in Southwest Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati. And that is the same alma mater as Walk the Moon guitarist Eli Maiman. They met one time. They follow each other on Twitter. He ranked 2nd all-time in hits in Ohio history. More hits than Ohio products. Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Larkin, Kyle Schwarber, Pete Rose, who's an outstanding basketball player. He's 5'10", but he was the all-time leading scorer at his high school, and he loves to fish. His favorite, bass fishing. And guys, by the way, he grew up about 30 miles from Kyle Schwarber, who told me today he played in a fall league game with Benintendi when Benintendi was an 8th grader, 9th grader. In that game, Benintendi hit a homer, and Schwarber told me he thought, hey, that guy has a good swipe to him.
He's got a chance to be somebody someday.
8th grade.
Yeah. I love those stories, like Bryant and Harper playing Little League together when they were kids, and Schwarber and Benintendi playing against one another when they were kids.
And then I remember Schwarber even telling Buster how he followed his career. Obviously, you come from same state, close nearby, and watching him at Arkansas and the SEC, and knowing that they both played in Omaha at different times, Indiana and Arkansas, but how you kind of follow those guys.
Interesting story about Benintendi, as this one will get out of play. He was taken 7th overall by the Red Sox in 2013. The Cubs were very, very high on him, and they wanted him. But the Cubs had 2 more wins that year than the Red Sox, so the Cubs actually picked 9th. Now, the Cubs swept a series from the Red Sox that year. Had the Red Sox won any of the 3 games of that series, then the Cubs, White Sox, and Red Sox all would have finished in a tie, and through tiebreakers, the Cubs would have had the 7th pick in the draft, not the Red Sox.
So Benintendi would be a Cub.
Benintendi could be a Cub.
And that was the season for the Red Sox coming off that championship year of 13. And I remember when they played that series.
I'm sorry, it was 14, right? I gave the wrong year. Yes.
So it was coming after that championship season, and no one expected the Red Sox to go on that downward spiral they did, which ended up getting them.
Of course, in 13 they won the World Series. The Red Sox did. 14 didn't have a good year. The 2015 draft. Now you can do that every year. You can look at 2 teams and say, well, if this team had won, then they would draft here instead of there. But Benintendi and family were under the impression the Cubs were very high on him, and he was likely to be chosen by them if he had gotten that far. But 2 picks before it got to the Cubs, the Red Sox took him. Bogarts with a nice play to get Russell. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by the Lexus GS 350 and GS Turbo. See your Lexus dealer. And the Ego Power Plus Lawnmower. Ego Power beyond belief. Chilly night here at Fenway. Great crowd. Lots of Cub fans again. You certainly heard that when Chris Bryant hit his home run. And again, John Farrell and everybody else who involved with the Red Sox organization says they've really never seen anything like this. The Giants were in for a series last year, a 2-gamer, and there were a lot of Giant fans here as Joe Kelly gets up now in the bullpen for Boston. This can be an issue for Rodriguez. He can be great and hardly give up any hits, but the pitch count can get away from him sometimes, whether it's because of walks or deep counts or 2-strike foul balls. Here he is coming up on 100 pitches with 1 out in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and that is one of the issues, but also one of the strengths of this Cubs team. So even though they're somewhat being shut down tonight, they're usually very good at making a pitcher at least work hard on those nights they're not scoring a lot of runs. And as a result, they're going to have Rodriguez, who has had his way with them for the most part, probably out of this game at best through this inning.
Eight strikeouts on, including 5 and 87 makes.
Yeah, but what he simply settled into is he started to work the edges with all those pitches, all the different movements, and he slowly but surely induced that weak contact as the game's worn on.
Walks the leadoff man. Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Joe Madden with the rare hat and hood look. Wanted to double up, got the gloves on. He's not taking any chances. If only the 3 of us had been as smart and had the wardrobe that Joe has.
I want a toque.
I want a toque more than you. I need a toque more than you need a toque.
Why, Dan?
That I know. Here's Benintendi, singled and scored on the Ramirez home run in the 1st, and then hit a rocket, but right at Zobrist at 2nd, lining into a double play. I mean, you could envision this group, Benintendi, Bradley, Betts, being together for a long time.
With Starling Marte with the suspension with the Pirates, I mean, I would put the Red Sox outfielders the best in baseball. Those three, what they can do offensively, defensively.
Marlins would be in that conversation for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
You could have some fun with this. I always felt like the Pirates took the cake. A little different in right field now.
Marte gone for 80 games after the suspension. And again, this guy's a rookie. You know, none of them may be in their prime yet, which is scary to think if you think about Mookie Betts, that he could get better. But he's only been around about 3 years, had to adjust to a new position, moving from the infield to the outfield. Betts did. Benintendi in his first full season.
And there's Jackie Bradley Jr. who hardly gets any love out there in center fielder, and he's the best outfielder of the three.
Aaron, if you had to pick one aspect of Benintendi's game that stands out, what is it?
Well, I'm sitting here watching it right now. I don't know where you go to get him out right now. And I'm not sure the Cubs know, like, where is the put away position? If I execute a pitch, he's got such good plate coverage. I mean, that's an excellent, well executed changeup that has good downward action that ends up a ball, but he's able to spoil it. And I think he's so good out over the plate, like most hitters are. But we saw earlier in the ball game his ability to kind of fight off for a base hit, a pitch in on his hands. There's just not a lot of holes and not a lot of places to go to put him away.
Contreras jogged out to the mound. Quick conversation with Hendricks to get on the same page. And he gets a call on a pitch that looked like it was off the outside corner, but he rings up Benintendi.
About as good an execution you could have on a backdoor cutter. But let's take a look at Hendricks in this game. A couple of two-seam fastballs that he executes perfect in off the plate to righties. A two-seamer he brings to the inside corner against Jackie Bradley. The cut fastball in on the hands. And here's the two changeups. The cut changeup that he gets the cut action, and then that down and away bread and butter pitch for him that he gets great movement on with the changeup. He's able to get another out. He is really settled in, and once again turned in a nice outing, coming off his best outing in his last start against the Pirates.
Joe Madden talked about how he gauges Hendricks by the reaction of the hitters. He could also tonight gauge it by all the broken bats.
Has not given up a hit, as just mentioned, since the second inning when Pedroia led off the inning with a single. Betts hits the ball hard, straightaway center field. Almora back on the edge of the track, makes the catch, 2 down. Lots more Major League action coming your way this coming week on ESPN. It begins tomorrow night with a couple of teams who don't like each other that much in some ways. The Orioles and the Red Sox. Then it'll be the Blue Jays and Yankees Wednesday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. And 1 week from tonight, how about another appetizing interleague matchup as the Cubs host the Yankees. The Yankees were finally cooled off today. It took extra innings. The Orioles defeating the Yankees 7-4. Some craziness in that game, too, as pitcher Brian Mitchell came in to pitch, then went to first base, then went back to pitch again in extra innings. They were basically out of arms, and Joe Girardi wanted to use Mitchell before and after Aroldis Chapman. Wanted to play some matchups, or New Chapman could only go so far, so he wanted to keep Mitchell in the game. Mitchell actually had to play a pop-up in foul territory, and it didn't end well for him. It didn't cost them that inning, but it's a highlight you'll want to see, and I'm sure it'll be on SportsCenter later tonight. But the Yankees finally suffer a defeat as they lose to the Orioles in extra innings. Both of those teams are now 15-8 on the season.
AL East. Who would have thought? I mean, the Yankees, the start they've had, and then the Blue Jays being at the bottom the way they have.
Blue Jays got some good news and bad news today. They finally won 2 in a row, first time this year. But Aaron Sanchez came off the DL. He had a blister problem, came off the DL and split the nail today after they had performed a procedure to remove part of it. Split the nail in the first inning, was only able to go 1 inning, and right back onto the sidelines for last year's American League ERA leader. So a lot of AL East action coming your way this week on ESPN, and Yankees Cubs sounds like a lot of fun next week. And a little projecting ahead, looking at probable pitchers, could be John Lester and Luis Severino.
Yeah, Severino looks like he's starting to become that pitcher that the Yankees had hoped he would become last year when he really struggled, but he is off to a great start, and one of the reasons the Yankees are atop in the AL East.
And that last pitch to Ramirez, we've seen Hendricks go with it now twice. That 2-seam fastball away that he's trying to creep back over the plate. He got him to strike out. And remember, Hanley crushed the ball, his first at bat for a home run that was missed up middle of the zone. So Hendricks now trying to set up that 2-seam fastball away.
Ramirez didn't like that call. Some of the hitters here in the middle innings, both ways, feeling the strike zone's getting a little bit wider.
Well, it is a little off the plate, but this is exactly what Hendricks wants from this pitch. And I remember there was a time last year he got more pitches outside of the zone called strikes, because you see what that pitch does. It is away, but then it has that little late run.
Well, the reason Ramirez is so frustrated is because, A, it doesn't quite get back to the corner on K-zone, but Ramirez sees it as way off. I mean, he's starting that pitch now, and take Hendricks' credit right there. With on a 2-2 count, he's going to see how far he can get. And because he's dialed in from a command standpoint right now, he starts it just a couple more inches off and then runs it back. That one doesn't quite get to the edge.
Bogarts will be on the move on the pitch. 2 down, full count.
He started him with a cutter in this at bat. Let's see if he goes away with the cutter off the edge and break it off the plate.
He did. A swing and a miss at maybe a slider down and away, and Ramirez, very unhappy, slaps away his batting helmet with his bat, exchanges some words with home plate umpire Bruce Streckman as Hendricks picks out strikeout number 6 to end the inning.
If you have a garden, you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can finally banish garden weeds without harming precious plants nearby. So draw the line. Just give the stick 1 click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root with pinpoint precision. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel. And be sure to check out Roundup with Sure Shot Wand, another good-for-the-garden product from Roundup.
This is the Dyson V8 cord-free vacuum, and this is its Dyson digital motor, generating powerful suction to deep clean carpets, hard floors, clean up high, and convert to a handheld, to dig deep on stairs, furniture, mattresses, and cars, all with up to 40 minutes runtime.
Try Dyson V8 at home with a 90-day money-back guarantee.
Oh, I just bought a hybrid car, this Ioniq that you see.
Who knew that it would be the perfect ride for me? It sips the fuel, the tech is cool, this baby really goes. Everybody loves it, from my ladies
to my bros.
You know, the world didn't need another hybrid. It needed a better hybrid. Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq.
the most fuel-efficient car in America.
Andy, perfect attendance at road games this season. How do you keep going?
It's all about the fundamentals, you know, hands at 10 and 2. Also, got a new Napa battery and fresh wiper blades. My Napa guy,
that's a solid dude.
He always says you can't get to the top if you can't see where you're going.
Inspiring. Well, do you have any advice for your fans out there?
Yeah, it's all about the blood, sweat,
and cheese it again!
Smoking like a true road warrior.
Keep your champion running longer, stronger with Napa Know-How.
1 week from tonight on Sunday Night Baseball, the Yankees head to historic Wrigley Field to take on the defending World Series champion Cubs. Should be as much fun as this one has been. And then the following Sunday, 2 weeks from tonight, the Yankees will honor their former captain. They will retire the number of Derek Jeter, and we'll have that game for you. The Astros and the Yankees, 2 weeks from tonight, Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN. Top 7. Red Sox 2, Cubs 1. And out of the bullpen for the Red Sox comes hard-throwing right-hander Joe Kelly.
Well, he's really found a home in this Red Sox bullpen and found a niche in this middle, later inning role. Obviously, the great fastball, 99 on average, 4 and 2 seam, the slider and the curveball.
Left a ball up, and Almora hits it hard to center, but Bradley is there, 1 down.
There's a good look at Joe Kelly right there, who that slider got a lot of the plate there, but you see off to a good start this season. Real good ERA. Not a lot of strikeouts for a guy as overpowering as he can be, but that fastball we'll see routinely 98, 99, touch 100 miles an hour. One of the fastest average fastball pitchers in the league.
Here's John Jay, 1 for 2. You know what's impressive about the Red Sox bullpen is they're without a couple of really good arms, potentially key guys in Tyler Thornburg, Carson Smith, both on the DL. Yet Boston's bullpen has one of the best collective ERAs in baseball, 3rd entering tonight, and the best opponent's batting average in baseball, 5th entering tonight in the majors. And that's without 2 guys who would have prominent roles if they were healthy.
And that really bodes well for them because they figure to get healthier as the season goes along. They hope to get Smith. They hope to get Thornburg back at some point. And Craig Kimbrell, for as outstanding as his career has been and as overpowering as he has been in his career, he's throwing the ball as good right now.
Yeah.
Certainly as any time he's been with the Red Sox, but really at any time in his career, he is commanding the baseball with that obviously electric stuff.
Like if you make contact against Kimbrell right now, that's a win. The way that he's thrown.
Well, in game 1, he closed out the first game of this series, went through the heart of the Cubs order and struck out the side to close out game 1 of this series. He is in a good place right now.
3-1 on Jay. Aaron, you mentioned earlier in the game Joe Maddon said how much he loves John Jay. His exact quote to us was, "I love him so much I want to adopt him." That's, I mean, he. And the funny part was, you know, we sit there and say, "Hey, what about this guy? Tell us about that guy." Nobody, you know, we hadn't gotten there yet, and he launched John Jay into the conversation. He wanted to talk about him so much.
Yeah, we're just talking different options in the outfield, and he's putting Jay up for adoption. That's how much he loves him.
You know, maybe a guy who's gotten to the point of his career where, as Buster was talking about earlier, you want to win. You want to play on a winner. You'll take a little bit less prominent of a role, but if you can play on a better team and do something to help them win, that's pretty appealing for a guy at getting on in his career.
When you think about them losing David Ross, you know, last season, who really was the veteran, the leader, the everything, that had the experience in the postseason, that kind of could rally the troops. And that's where John Jay's role, I feel like, as much as he can be platoon and outfield positioning, all of that, he really brings that experience and that veteran leadership this team needs.
And I don't want to imply he's right at the end of his career. He's 32 years old, but a guy who's been around for a while and maybe starts looking at things differently at some point. Says, you know what, I like the possibility of playing in October.
Well, and he's a guy that can sit over there for a couple of days, and you plug him in and you don't worry about any rust.
Yeah.
It's a very low maintenance approach and swing.
Well, we had a really cool moment earlier in this game when Chris Bryant hit a home run for the Cubs. He's got family here, including his dad, Mike, who's been his hitting coach, well, as long as Chris can remember, I'm sure. Let's go to Buster Olney, who is standing by with Mike Bryant.
Mike Bryant, tell me what this weekend's been like for you to see Chris playing in Fenway Park.
It's an incredible trip, sentimental journey, and a nostalgic weekend. Unbelievable growing up here and watching my kid hit a couple bombs. Quite a thrill.
When he hit the home run on Friday, pointing up here, what was that about?
I sent him a text before the game. I said, hey, son, hit me a dinger, man. And there it was, Dad. I got you covered. Man, I was like, boy, my heart sank. It's the first time he's ever done anything like that. It's amazing.
We caught your reaction on that last home run to straightaway center field. What was that like?
As soon as he hit it in the air, I was like, another one. As soon as he got the ball airborne in the sound, I knew he had another one. It was awesome.
Now, this ballpark's special to you because this is where you proposed to your wife. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, that earlier that day, we picked out our ring, went to lunch while they were setting it. She didn't expect me to pull behind the wall at Fenway. She goes, what are you doing? Where are you going? So I just pulled over and I said, well, I hope to be hitting some dingers here someday myself. And never in my wildest dreams did I expect my son to be doing it then.
Now, one of the things you're known for is helping him learn to lift the ball. What were some of the lessons you learned from Ted Williams about that?
Ted was big on hitting the ball hard, hitting the ball in the air. It was all about angles. Getting that, the downward plane of the ball and matching the bat path to the ball path. That really, sunk into me. It very resonated. So we spent, ever since he was 5 years old, trying to get the ball in the air, and been doing pretty good.
And it paid off. Mr. Bryant, thank you.
Yes, you bet.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job teaching him to
he's
hit.
doing pretty good.
Not bad. He could. Yeah.
Nice start to his career.
He'd have a lineup around the block if he wanted to take on more clients. And you could hear him say it was nostalgic. So not only was he a Red Sox farmhand, you could hear in the interview he's a Massachusetts guy.
Yeah.
Medford, Mass.
Two bombs.
Two bombs. Yeah.
Strong accent.
Yeah. And a pretty cool moment for the Bryant family tonight. Ted Williams, his hitting instructor back in 1980 and 81 when Teddy Ballgame was a hitting instructor in the Red Sox organization and Mike Bryant was a minor leaguer in the Red Sox organization. What'd you say? He's kind of a cross between Gary Allenson and Dewey Evans when you look at that picture. Just looking,
that's what I went with.
Yeah, he's got that feel to it.
Yeah.
I love that he texted Chris, was like, hit one for me.
Yeah.
And then you could almost feel that emotion when he talked about Chris pointing up to the stand saying, it's for you, Pops.
That's pressure, man. When your dad sends you a text and said, hey, Golden Spikes Rookie of the Year MVP guy, do me a favor. Hit a home run for me. You better get it done.
Never played here as a big leaguer, but.
Yeah. Full count on Schwarber. Rubber match of a 3-game series between the Cubs and the Red Sox. Out of play.
That point to Dad came Friday night. First home run Chris had in this stadium as a big leaguer, points right to Pops from the text message.
Look how nervous he is.
The sun's not even up yet.
Yeah.
He's just on deck.
That's right. Runner at first, Jay, and there's ball 4 to Schwarber. Back-to-back walks will bring up Chris Bryant.
Another peek at that home run earlier in the ball game. They wanted that two-seamer away, and you could see Eduardo Rodriguez right away knew he had gotten too much of the plate, and Bryant rides it out of here. But again, this Cubs team that makes pitchers work. They got Rodriguez's pitch count to a point where they got him out of the game, and now they're taking advantage of Kelly being outside the zone a little bit. All of a sudden now they've set the table for Bryant and Rizzo behind him.
And that was a really solid at bat from Kyle Schwarber, who we have talked about is struggling a lot. He hasn't been able to really get barrel on ball like we've seen yet. His on-base percentage has been something that's been consistent, and that working a walk, fouling off pitches to set the table.
Left-hander Robbie Scott, right-hander Matt Barnes just back off suspension after serving 4 games for throwing the ball behind Manny Machado's head in that situation that developed in the aftermath of the Machado slide into Pedroia at second base. First things first, though. 2 men on, 1 out for Bryant. 90 miles an hour at the knees, and it's 0-1.
That's where they got to work him. That slider right there. Perfect execution to get ahead of Bryant. Want to attack him low in the zone, both with the fastballs and then breaking balls that you can work out of the zone to get him to chase.
Hooks it down the left field line, but he's pulled it foul.
It's a little out in front of this one. They came right back with a slider that caught a lot of the plate. And just a little out in front and a little off the end. He kind of hooks that ball foul, but that's a bit of a mistake that they got away with.
Low Chris gets in his stance.
Big guy, 6'5", but stance in a deep crouch as he takes the slider with the dirt ball 1.
And I like it for him because it really minimizes that lower half movement. We see so many guys with the big leg kicks, so many different ways that you can get into your legs. But for Chris, he kind of takes that out of the equation because he gets so low in his stance and then just is such a smooth transfer when he swings.
Dad nervously looking on. The 1-2 from Kelly, and another slider Bryant wouldn't chase.
Well, and here's where Kelly's just struggling a little bit with that command. He gets ahead 0-2, and then he's going to try and expand the zone with the breaking balls. The problem with those 2 pitches is, and especially against a guy like Bryant, who, although he strikes out a lot, also walks a lot and knows the strike zone. And both of those pitches, if you're going to get a guy like Bryant to chase, you've got to start it in the strike zone. Both of those were balls out of the hand, and that's why Bryant's able to lay off them. And now he's worked it back to 2-2. And now at some point you're going to have to come back to him, and then you risk making a mistake to him, which is where you get in trouble.
On the appeal, he did not go. The ball goes to the backstop. Vasquez can't find it. Play at the plate. Got him. But right away, John Jay heading over to the dugout, and is he going to tell them to have a look at it? And Joe Maddon right away is out of the top step.
Well, another one of the intangible items that John Jay brings to the table, just being aware that Vasquez was having a hard time finding this ball. He never broke stride around third base, and from the naked eye up here from our vantage point, it looked like he probably got in with the hands right away. He wanted to challenge, and as you can see, he is clearly safe, and this should get overturned. But a great job of being aware by John Jay, not breaking stride, and then clearly getting ahead with the tying run there for the Cubs.
And John Jay right away saying, put the headsets on, put the heads. And if you could read Joe Maddon's lips, he said, how could you make that call? Because he felt it was fairly obvious that he was safe. And the reaction you're hearing in the ballpark is Cub fans seeing the replay up on the video scoreboard. Red Sox fans are probably saying, oh, this isn't going to go so well. Cub fans making the noise, knowing that this one is very likely. I mean, it's got to be overturned.
We just freeze it right when he gets to the plate, and there's still a good 6 inches before the glove comes to tag.
Pretty good job by Vasquez once he did realize where it was. To be able to get that much on that little backhand shovel and be accurate was impressive. But again, John Jay just heads up to be able to score on that play.
He is safe. So they overturn it, and rightly so, and the Cubs have tied it. He may have grown up being a Red Sox fan, but his allegiance is to a different team now. Equally as important on the appeal down to first, no swing. So it's a full count now on Bryant. The game is tied at 2 here in the 7th. Ground ball down to third. Runner back to second, and Hernandez throws out Bryant by a step, 2 down.
Another peek at John Jay, who we talked about Joe Madden. I love this guy. Here he reads this ball in the dirt, and just look at his head the whole time. He's not watching the third base coach. He's watching what's going on at the plate and with Vasquez. And right away he realizes he can't find it. That's his opportunity to not break stride in a huge base running play to tie up this ball game.
So Joe Kelly's wildness costs him. John Jay takes advantage. Lefty Robbie Scott coming on in what is now a tie game.
Any guy can wear a hat, but only you can turn heads in one. You got something. Own it and smell great with new Axe U, a unique masculine fragrance.
Vikings didn't actually have horns on their helmets.
Ostriches don't really stick their heads in the sand.
And a real John Deere is actually real affordable.
You learn something new every day. The surprisingly affordable John Deere E-Series tractors.
Can't get a signal? So annoying, right?
Yeah, and I'm late for a job interview.
Hey man, can you just nix it for like 2 seconds? Thank you. You need Verizon. They have the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in America. It's made to work in places like this. With Verizon Unlimited, we could video chat the interview in HD right here.
Okay.
Hey man, I'll cue you.
When it really, really matters, you need the best network and the best unlimited. Just $45 per line for 4 lines.
I am a people person.
The #1 rated Ego Power Plus mower, featuring Ego's patented 56-volt arc lithium battery technology. It delivers the cutting torque of gas. The Ego mower's durable construction makes mowing in difficult conditions easy. The self-propelled model makes it effortless, and it folds flat in seconds for easy storage. The Ego Power Plus mower, exclusively at the Home Depot and Ego authorized dealers.
RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Alert base running from John Jay. Scoring from second on a wild pitch. Kyle Hendricks with 6 innings for the Cubs, and they have come back to tie it now at 2 in the 7th inning as lefty Robbie Scott enters the game for the Red Sox.
Been very effective against left-handed hitters so far, on for the 10th time in a big spot here against one of the game's great left-handed hitters in Rizzo with the go-ahead run on second. Fastball, slider, curveball, and change, primarily that fastball slider combination.
Kyle Schwarber looks at a strike, or Anthony Rizzo, excuse me, looks at a strike. Schwarber, the runner, out at second. Rizzo tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. So the Cubs have tied it here in the 7th inning without the benefit of a base hit. 2 walks and a wild pitch. Shift on with 3 on the right side against Rizzo.
And that is the one pitch that Rizzo knows he's going to have to lay off if he's got a chance against Scott. He's, as always, going to be right on top of the plate, so dare him to come inside. But he can't expand too much on the slider, and that's the challenge when you're facing a side armor. Something you don't normally see from the left side.
Lefties just 1 for 9 against Scott so far this season. Oh, 2. Got a piece of it, but a bouncer to first and a routine play for Moreland to end the inning. The Cubs, though, have tied it. John Jay racing home from second on a wild pitch when Vasquez could not find the ball, and we're all tied up at 2.
You're here to buy a used car, truck, SUV. That's smart. TrueCar can help. It's great for finding a new car, but you already knew that. It's also great for finding the perfect used car. You'll see what a fair price is, and you can connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. So no matter what you're looking for, there it is. This is how buying a used car should be. This is TrueCar.
What the hell have you done? The tests went too far. This station is infested. If those creatures make it to Earth, it's over. Nothing can survive.
Rated M for mature.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday on ESPN.
Showtime! In 5 days, see the film critics call Marvel Studios at its best. Oh, wow. It's a wild summer ride. Yeah. Epic. I, too, am extraordinarily humble. Awe-inspiring.
Promises, promises.
And action-packed.
Yes!
It's laugh-out-loud funny.
It's not half bad.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, rated PG-13, everywhere Friday.
They say Californians are living the dream.
But things aren't all that glamorous.
Nope.
We have our struggles.
It's no cakewalk.
A dream? This?
There's just no magic. Oh! Same old, same old.
The sun rises every morning.
And sets every night.
Still think Californians are living the dream? Come see for yourself. I mean, seriously.
Start your trip at visitcalifornia.com.
Finally. Ron, they're finally taking down that Schwab billboard.
Oh, not so fast, Carl. Oh, no. Schwab again. Index investing for that low? That's 3 times less than Fidelity.
And 4 times less than Vanguard.
What next? No minimums?
No minimums.
Schwab has lowered the cost of investing again, introducing the lowest cost index funds in the industry with no minimums.
I bet they're calling about the Schwab news.
Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Fenway Park. Cubs and Red Sox. Hanley Ramirez got it started with a 2-run homer. About 440 feet worth of home run in the first inning. And the Red Sox with an early lead. Eduardo Rodriguez struck out 9 in his 6 innings tonight. Chris Bryant got the Cubs on the board with a home run in the 5th inning, extending a hitting streak to 11. Mom, dad, family loved it. And then John Jay, alert base running, scoring from second on a wild pitch as Vasquez, the catcher, could not find it. Called out originally. They overturned the call. The tying run scored. And it's a good one, as you'd figure it would be between these two teams. The whole weekend has really been great. On the field, in the ballpark, around the ballpark, in the city, just the feel of everything. Weather-wise, it's kind of like October, and just kind of the vibe feels like October. A lot of energy around these two teams. Got a new pitcher coming into the game now for the Cubs. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, it'll be right-hander Carl Edwards Jr.
Off to a tremendous start this season, on for the 11th time. Just 2 hits allowed in those 9 innings of work. And he does it right there with that mid-90s fastball and the big overhand curveball. But he has found a home in this Cubs bullpen in the back end and continues to just increase his role from a successful transition to the pen last year.
And Joe Maddon talked about the options he has in the bullpen. Yesterday, in front of his closer Wade Davis, he used Koji Uehara and Hector Rondon, and he says he wants to get everybody involved. He's got a lot of good arms. So tonight he said it could be Carl Edwards Jr. and Pedro Strop, and maybe that's the way it's going to play out. You know, a lot of managers wish they would have this kind of a problem with so many good guys. They just want to get him into these kinds of situations, but so many different looks too that he can present out of the bullpen. And look at those numbers. 17 straight scoreless innings for the Cubs bullpen. Mitch Moreland leading it off for the Red Sox has struck out in his 2 at-bats tonight. And this one will get back out of play. Cubs will head home. This is the end of a 3-city road trip for them. They'll head home and connect with the Phillies for a 4-game series. The Red Sox will stay home and entertain the Baltimore Orioles, and you can see the first game of that series tomorrow night here on ESPN. Do you think all is said and done between the Red Sox and Orioles after Barnes threw behind a Machado? Moreland with a fly ball right field. Hayward there.
I think it would be just because the slide was fine, and both Pedroia and Machado aired that out, you know, across the field from each other. And even though Barnes threw at Machado and then got suspended, I don't think there's a retaliation that's needed, but it's baseball.
And look, nothing surprises you when it's especially division rivals and you play so many times. So all of a sudden, you know, one incident can then again, you know, maybe misconstrued intent, or all of a sudden feel like the other team needs to now retaliate again. So, you know, if an Orioles player were to hit a Boston Red Sox player, then all of a sudden there's, you know, it's on again. I would be surprised, frankly, if anything happened in this series coming up.
I mean, there's a chance the umpires will talk with the managers, and on occasion you even have warnings issued before the game, right?
Yeah.
If things have really gotten hot and heated. I don't know that that would be the case tomorrow.
I would be surprised if that was the case tomorrow, and I would be surprised, frankly, if there is an incident.
And it all started, of course, with Machado sliding into second and his spikes catching the leg of Pedroia, who missed a few days. Pedroia 1 for 2 tonight. And at the end of it all, the two people who appeared to be pretty good with each other were Machado and Pedroia.
Yep.
Barnes throwing a pitch behind the head of Manny Machado, actually hit Machado's bat. And a 4-game suspension. Initially Barnes was going, or did appeal the suspension, then he dropped the appeal, served the 4 games. That ended last night. Back to the active roster tonight.
I thought the most interesting part was, even though there was a lot of communication between Pedroia and Machado, even after the slide, Machado apologizing, and then when there was the hit, they were communicating, but not as much communication within the team. And Pedroia acting more surprised that Barnes was even throwing at Machado and saying, hey, that's not me, that's them.
Well, it's 2 days later, right? So part of the surprise, I guess. Full count on Pedroia. And just down and away for ball 4. April the 21st, Red Sox and Orioles. Manny Machado with the slide into second, and his spikes catch Pedroia on the left leg. You can see right away that Machado, he tried to help Pedroia up. There was no intent to injure. It doesn't appear at all on the part of Machado. And then 2 days later, Barnes throwing behind his head, and what Pedroia said right there is, it wasn't me. If it was me, meaning if I wanted this done, it would have happened on the first day. This was 2 days later, just a violation of, is there a protocol? How do you want to describe this here?
Well, yeah, I think Petey would have liked to have had something happen immediately after or the next day, like you said. And then once it did go on a couple days, and then to see a ball go at the head of Manny Machado, I think, that's where Pedroia became very frustrated with the situation. And that's where you saw the communication between he and Machado, saying, hey, if it was me, we'd do it right now, right after. But I don't think it was warranted to throw at it in that situation anyway, because I had about zero problem with the slide.
Swing and a miss by Bradley, and it's 0-2.
Guys, you mentioned that Matt Barnes came back from suspension today. When he came into the dugout before the game, he walked up to each of his teammates and said, "Hi, Matt Barnes." He was introducing himself to all of his teammates, including pitching coach Carl Willis, who he slapped in the back and said, "Good to see ya."
And I think it's also worth noting that I think there was a lot of talk, like, was there some animosity or some, issues within the Red Sox clubhouse between Pedroia, possibly Barnes, and other players, as Bradley punches out here. And I don't think there was any of that. I don't think Barnes was frustrated by what Pedroia said. I don't think there was any issue with Pedroia and Barnes. I think Pedroia was just upset at how it all unfolded in such a, 2 days, and then the ball being up at the head. But I don't think there was any issue within the clubhouse between the players.
And how often do you actually see the players communicate that the way they did across the field, but in an amicable? Usually they're screaming at each other, they're yelling, but they were literally like, hey, having a real conversation, reading lips to try to say, look, this isn't me, this is them, and figure it out.
Well, we'll find out if there's anything between them tomorrow night. Hopefully not. Hopefully both teams move on, just play baseball.
And I think the back and forth between Pedroia and Machado also is a sign of a shift on baseball's unwritten rules. You remember a couple of years ago when you had the whole thing with Bryce Harper and Jonathan Papelbon and Machado, and Bryce Harper saying Machado getting thrown out was tired. I think players look at it differently than they did, say, 20 years ago.
Christian Vasquez 0 for 2.
I agree with Buster that I think the way players view different things that happen within a game, a celebration or a home run trot or a reaction to a play, I think players view different. But I still think there is that code of protection amongst players that, if there's viewed that, you put one of my teammates' health in jeopardy, there's always going to be that kind of policing that goes on within the game.
But by those standards, if that's the code, the Red Sox, they got their retaliation, or they attempted to get their. It wasn't executed well, but it was attempted.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Well, we didn't even see the attempt, possibly even from Eduardo Rodriguez earlier in the game, trying to throw possibly at Machado, and 3 misses. I mean, there was a lot of tries, for sure.
And the inning is over on the strikeout of Vasquez. We are through 7 at Fenway. The Cubs 2, the Red Sox 2.
They were always side by side, but trapped in the friend zone until finally they got together. Check it out. I'm talking about the taco and burrito. Double the seasoned beef, shredded cheese, and crunchy chips. The new loaded taco burrito, just $1.49. Only at Taco Bell.
Do you always put Cheez-It grooves in your sandwich?
Of course. They're chips. Chips plus sandwich equals the perfect lunch.
Oh, don't forget the pickle. It's kind of a big deal.
Cheez-It grooves. Chips made with 100% real cheese. Dang right it's a chip.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes? Of course I do.
One of the best things about driving is being able to stop. Get up to $100 back on a 2-axle brake service with your Midas credit card. For brakes, tires, oil, everything. Trust the Midas touch.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point, I did change to a different company with car insurance, and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over, and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
It's time for Scott's MLB Pitch Hit and Run, the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. Sign up today and play your way to the national finals, and you'll get the chance to compete during All-Star Week in Miami. Sign up for free at pitchhitrun.com.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Taco Bell's new loaded taco burrito. And in part by Midas for brakes, tires, oil, everything. Trust the Midas touch. And K Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K. Somebody's having a good night.
She's awake, too.
Yeah.
Got a ball, got a baseball tattoo.
She's just getting rolling.
Having a night.
Sitting right behind the bullpen.
She'll be a baller when she grows up.
Probably yelling at a Cubs reliever.
Matt Barnes into the game here in the top of the 8th of a 2-2 tie. And the first batter he'll face, Ben Zobrist, as the switch hitter turns around to bat from the left side and takes a curveball in for a strike.
Well, that's his repertoire. Fastball mid-90s. Another one of the hard throwers out of that Red Sox pen, and that's the curveball. That's the #1 secondary pitch. He'll also throw a slider in the mid-upper 80s. But a guy that gets both right and left-handed hitters out. Both lefties and righties hitting below 200 against Barnes.
Zobrist tonight 1 for 3, had a double back in the first inning. .95, but upstairs, ball 2. Think we'll see as many Yankee fans at Wrigley next weekend as there have been Cub fans here at Fenway this weekend.
The challenge is on. Because Chicago came to Boston, that is for sure. I have a feeling there's a lot of New Yorkers living in Chicago too.
Well, if you're a Yankee fan, today's loss notwithstanding, you got to be pretty excited about the first month of the season. 15-8.
A lot of it without their two best players,
Yeah.
Didi Gregorius, Gary Sanchez.
And chances are we should have Sanchez back possibly this weekend and for our game Sunday night. So, yeah, they've gotten so much production from so many different parts of their roster.
We talked about Aaron Judge. Obviously, he's grabbed a lot of the headlines with the home runs he's been hitting. But, you know, the bullpen's been so good. As Adam Warren was, I think, retired the first 20-some batters he faced this year. Austin Romine doing a really good job behind the plate.
Headley off to a good start. Ellsbury's been playing well. The Severino Pineda have been real contributors in the rotation.
Ronald Torreyes with some moments, filling in at short for Gregorius, who's now back.
There's something else to keep in mind, too. Their potential weakness is starting pitching. When you look ahead to the market this summer, starting pitching market is going to be saturated with options.
I think there's a good column in that they could read at ESPN.com that you wrote, Buster.
I think I might have read that column.
And there's a whole lot of pitchers he listed. Yeah. He's right. A lot of potentials.
Full count. Ball stays fair for Moreland. Underhanded on to Barnes. 1 down. Well, if you are a fan of the Yankees, you can see them a couple of times on ESPN this week. It's Orioles and Red Sox tomorrow night, and then the Yankees hosting the Blue Jays Wednesday night here on ESPN. And as we mentioned, Wrigley Field in Chicago, the Yankees and the Cubs 1 week from tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, here on Sunday Night Baseball. So now how about this with the this is earlier today. Once they're in a tie, there are various tiebreaker rules in baseball, but here at Fenway the tiebreaker rule is if anybody's tied with the Yankees, we put them ahead of the Yankees
immediately.
Yeah. That may not be a real thing, but it kind of fits the narrative. So
yes.
I love the hand operated scoreboard out there.
You know, it's not as easy, too, as it looks, obviously, them going out there, but even trying to slide in behind that wall, I was back there. I mean, you got to go in between, like, cement.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty impressive.
If you're claustrophobic, don't go inside the monster.
It was cool to see Mookie Betts out there giving a little tour to some friends. A special place.
Popped up off the bat of Russell into shallow center field, and in comes Bradley. Now Hayward, 1 for 3 tonight, had a base hit in the second, and the line out in the sixth was one of the hardest hit balls we've seen in this game tonight.
101 miles an hour off the bat on an out.
This last year was a time where you would see if just that pitcher looked to just get ahead with a fastball in the zone. Now you got to be a little more careful.
Goes after the first pitch. Pedroia bounces it over to first. Moreland comes up with it on a hop. Good play on both ends. Red Sox fans loving the defense as we go bottom 8. Cubs 2, Red Sox 2. Good play by Pedroia, and the Red Sox will come up looking to break the tie.
Just press clean and let Roomba help with your everyday messes. A full suite of sensors automatically guides Roomba throughout your home, cleaning under furniture, along edges, and in corners. And Roomba's patented 3-stage cleaning system agitates, brushes, and suctions dirt from your floors for up to 2 hours, recharging itself when it needs to, which means your floors are always clean. You and Roomba from iRobot. Better together.
Hi, everybody. This is Pat Hughes. The Chicago Cubs are World Series champions. To commemorate this, BigTimeBats.com is releasing the 2016 World Series champions Louisville Slugger two-tone bat. The full-size bat will have the Cubs logo and the World Series champions logo. The bat is limited to 10,000 individually numbered bats and sells for $129.95. Call Big Time Bats now at 1-866-280-BATS.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe.
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
To err is human. To anticipate is Lexus. Experience the Lexus RX with advanced safety. Standard. Experience amazing.
The debate starts here. First Take, weekdays at 10 on ESPN.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.